checked out.
Big hole for Jonathan Taylor. There he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. Indy.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
David Rosenquist, he wins the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Our family here at Radio 1 lost a true icon over the weekend. WIBC's Matt Baer was such an amazing talent, not only in front of a mic, but more than that, he was someone that was part of our mornings here at the Fan, the WIBC newsroom. For those unfamiliar with our studio, it's located just down the hallway here at Radio 1. And, you know, oftentimes, guys, my first interaction in the morning, not you, James, not you, Mark, would be with Matt Baer. You guys know full well I'm probably once an hour walking around the hallway, you know, going to the break room, you know, getting some coffee, and probably going to the bathroom as well. And oftentimes was met with Matt Baer's face, Matt Baer's smile, Matt Baer's quick, witty humor. I'll never forget being in the bathroom with him on Friday, and he's cracking jokes about the Colts preseason game on Saturday. And so whether it was sharing the break room with him or just a morning interaction, if you didn't know Matt's legendary voice, you know, and frankly his presence on WIBC, I would argue his greatest accomplishment was frankly the vulnerability he showed, and Ryan Hedrick as well, in starting the sobriety podcast that they did a couple years back, actually named as a finalist for a Marconi coming up here later this year. So just certainly thoughts with the Baer family, the WIBC family, you know, our family here at Radio 1. I know I speak for so many inside and outside of this building in that he will be missed. And it felt weird to me yesterday, you know, kind of looking back on the day and not seeing him. He has just been such a staple for our mornings here, especially since we've moved into the morning slot a couple years ago, into that 7 a.m. slot. And obviously he's been such a staple for mornings here in Indianapolis for years to come. So just wanted to make sure we started off with that, and rest easy to an absolute legend in Matt Baer.
Yeah, I'll echo a lot of those sentiments, and I won't pretend like I was here super long, but being here for almost, it feels like a year and a half, almost 2 years now, seeing him every day at, I'll say, Kevin, not as early as you would see him, but, you know, at 6:56 every morning, that was a pleasure, and he was always gracious with his time, embraced me, even though I was the new guy, like I'd been here for X amount of years, and always showed a lot of respect for the work that we did, even though what he did, I would argue, Kevin, was more important than us talking about games and things like that. You know, the ability to kind of tell people what's going on traffic-wise and your commute and where you should go, and, hey, this intersection is closed and things like that. Like, stuff that, you know, I might have taken for granted just because it's what you're used to. Yeah, I don't want to sit up here and act like that's, you know, normal for someone to, you know, come in and do that at a high level and, like you said, be up for awards and things like that for the other side of, you know, his life, the personal side. And I can definitely respect anyone who's willing to be vulnerable publicly, help others because of that vulnerability. So, yeah, tough day. Definitely at Radio 1 yesterday. And, Mark, I know I talked to you a little bit about this, and I believe you might have known Matt longer than anybody.
Yeah, I've known him since he started working here. He was actually Tony Katz's producer back in the Wayback Machine, and so he was like training me on shows and everything like that. And then, you know, as he moved into the traffic scene and everything like that, we still would see each other regularly. You know, he's like, "Dykton, you gonna make some radio magic today?" I'm like, "I'm gonna try. I can't always guarantee I'm gonna succeed, but always give me a signature fist bump and everything like that." And always good to see him, and just the nicest dude ever. And yeah, hearing that news yesterday just rocked my world. So very sad to see him no longer in these halls and everything. Yeah, it's just real tough day around here.
Yeah, no easy transition off of that. A good Tuesday morning to you, and thank you for starting your day with us. It looks to be another nice day weather-wise here in the Circle City. We'll be up at West 56th Street a little bit later today. The Colts get back to on-field action today, tomorrow, And on Thursday, again, it's a quiet start to the week for the Indiana Fever. Guests coming up today. Stephen Godfrey is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour, college football analyst. Really enjoy his work from a podcast standpoint. So he'll join us coming up. Again, the college football season begins actually this weekend. We actually have a few local games. Mark, I believe your alma mater got a big game on Thursday night. Indy and Marion coming up. On Thursday. Butler gets started this weekend. A couple week 0 games from a D1 standpoint, and then Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, etc. They'll get going here next weekend. So we'll chat with him and John Nolan, voice of the Fever, here at 9 o'clock. James, I know you were over at Victory Field last night. You want to talk about an outstanding night. Crowd looked to be absolutely awesome over there. And, boy, shout out to Tyrese Haliburton and so many others that are involved with getting that softball game back and going, and proceeds going to the Pacers Foundation. And we know they contribute a lot of money to the Drive and Dish, which we've talked with Rick Carlisle about the food insecurities around Marion County and the state of Indiana that a lot of those proceeds go to as well. But looked to be a really nice night there, and it's kind of a laid-back atmosphere with plenty of star power over there.
Yeah, shout out to Dustin DePierre of Indy Star, Pacers reporter. He actually kept the book.
That's the greatest thing I've ever seen. When I saw Tony East tweet a picture of Dustin DePierre keeping the scorebook, I'm not going to lie, probably within the last 5 years when I've gone to a Major League Baseball game and I saw them passing out a scorebook when I walked in, you better believe I grabbed one.
Man, you know what, KB? As a former high school and softball sports reporter, learning how to keep a book was probably one of the hardest things I've did in my career. And when I finally got to the point where I could write in pen instead of pencil and having to look all ugly and, okay, I messed that up, let me, redo this, was something that I'll never really forget. And he told me, kind of like myself, I have a bunch of these books still in my apartment from the high school days, and he said he had a couple of them. And so he put them to good use yesterday, and Team Haliburton gets the blowout victory 28-8. They did go down early. Daniel Jones went yard on Tyrese Haliburton to start the day, and it was just a fun atmosphere, Kevin. And really, the coolest part for myself, and I think for a lot of fans, especially if you're fans of all three major pro franchises, those being the Fever, the Pacers, and the Colts, you saw so many familiar faces in one place, and like so many jerseys of all three teams in one place. So that was really unique and really fun. And yeah, Tyrese was there, Daniel Jones was there, Pat McAfee stayed long after it was gone, taking photos with fans and having conversations with kids and doing autographs. And so just an overall really feel-good night, and one of those days where if you had an opportunity to go, you won't forget it because it was so much fun. And last thing I'll say is, I don't know if you saw, boys, those baseball jerseys that they were like wearing were pretty sweet.
Yeah, I would love to see them. I would love to see those sell those jerseys. And I again, I know nothing about how the finances work, but I don't know. Could you sell those jerseys like moving forward? Like literally put them in the Pacers gift shop, put them in the Colts gift shop, hell, put them in the Indianapolis Indians gift shop, and whatever, 5-10% of those proceeds continue to go to the Pacers Foundation. I believe didn't they auction them off last night?
Yes, they did. And I believe there was one where it got signed by everybody that was there, and I think it might have went for like $1,200.
So that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, I mean, those are really cool. And I think generally people just enjoy like wearing baseball jerseys, even if they aren't necessarily like Mark's rocking a Pete Crow Armstrong.
Right.
You guys have seen me wear like that Notre Dame baseball jersey.
Yeah,
that
it's sweet.
I just love wearing, even though it really has nothing to do with Notre Dame baseball per se. So yeah, it looked to be a really fun night. I will have to admit there was one sight that I thought was a rather frightening sight.
Oh yeah, we'll get into it.
I will have to share with you watching from afar. Last night, I had an audible reaction where Max Bowen was like, "Daddy, is everything okay?"
I know. I tried to give you all as many video clips as I could.
Oh boy.
I had a couple people asking me, Kevin, will I live stream this? And I was like, I don't know about keeping the arms up that long, but hopefully you all had a good time to kind of see through my eyes if you weren't able to go in person.
I was a little nervous there. I was kind of hoping it would maybe glitch 5 seconds into it so I wouldn't have to watch all of it. We're on Pup Watch today as we sit here at 7:08 on this Tuesday morning. Alec Pierce remains on the physically unable to perform list, and we wait word on that. Again, the Colts are back to practice today. They practice tomorrow. They practice Thursday. I would argue this is a very pivotal week for Pierce to get back doing something. We're now at 5 months. If we go back to the Pierce timetable, 4 to 6 months, late March when he had surgery, this is 5 months.
Right.
Like this general late August area. So that is obviously a key item to keep an eye out for today. We'll see about any update on Javarius Ward and his back situation. At some point today, I do want to play the audio from special teams coordinator Brian Mason
Oh, my boy.
yesterday. That man's got a knee like no other.
I was going to say, you could just say that man does not have a knee, and that would explain what you're going to get into.
You know, I was thinking about this as he was detailing all of the knee injuries and surgeries. And for those not following the story, this is Colts special teams coordinator Brian Mason, the man who unfortunately got rolled up on in that preseason opener against the New England Patriots. And I had no idea the severity of his knee history there. You know, James, I mean, hell, we had Brian Mason yell at us on the morning show up there from the Droplight Grand Park campus. He was jogging around those fields at Grand Park.
Yeah, so you would never know the history behind his left knee.
No, not at all. Every single morning, he'd be out there a good hour before practice starting, getting his work in and looking great there. True football coach in reacting to why people want to hear about his injury history, but it's rather lengthy. It involves Hinkle Fieldhouse, as crazy as that might sound. So we'll play that for you upcoming here in a little bit. Another piece of audio. First off, I thought Tyrese Haliburton, as always, has interesting comments about his rehab and all of that. And I know you were over there yesterday, so I want to get to that comment in regards to kind of Daniel Jones and Tyrese and the difference in their timetables, if you will. But also, I think a prominent story yesterday around the sports world was something we talked about on yesterday's show, and that is this ability for literally players that have put on an NFL uniform, that have played in an NFL preseason game, to now go back to college football and be eligible to play. Barry Odom, Kurt Signetti, both asked about it yesterday. I found myself nodding my head a whole lot at one of those two. And it's mind-boggling to all of a sudden see these, like, you know, these graphics that you see made for the transfer portal all the time. And the graphic that I saw yesterday was a Browns helmet to an LSU helmet. And that would be the Cleveland Browns helmet, which I'm sure there's a joke in there about the Cleveland Browns being probably more of a college team than anything. But
yeah,
like, is this what our week is about to be about? Roster cuts on Sunday? Is it are the Colts about to have a player that gets the scissors and then goes back to college football?
You know, Kevin, I always think that covering football comes with a certain level of confusion in the NFL because there's so many rules. Like, even we'll get into it throughout the show, but there's physically unable to perform rules for if you're on that list going into the season versus if you get off of that list, say today for Alec Pierce. But with college, man, I don't understand any of it because all the rules keep changing. And so, yeah, that's difficult to understand. And it does seem like we'll constantly have some content to talk about, which is good for us because it won't stabilize at the college level.
Mark, how you doing? Well, it's Tuesday morning, sir. Your Cubbies little shutout yesterday?
Yeah, hanging in there. That was a late start, so 9:40 I think was first pitch. So I stayed up as best I could, but I was like, okay, it's time for bed. So clocked out at about 11, and then woke up this morning and go, okay, 7-0 shutout. Good to see you there. Keep it rolling.
You will take that. Indianapolis Indians, after a night at Victory Field, they're back at home all week long, so it's a busy time over there at Victory Field. Good Tuesday morning to you again. We are the Fan Morning Show right here, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Mark Dykton coming at you.
checked out. Brought to you by Bet365 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
A good Tuesday morning to you. Thank you for starting it with us. We are the Fan Morning Show. James Boyd today, you and I up there at West 56th Street. Colts will try and mimic a regular season schedule this week. So they'll practice each of the next 3 days. The Detroit Lions in town Saturday, 1 o'clock for the preseason finale. Roster cuts then comes Sunday. Things on your mind as we head out there today?
Well, number one is, will Alec Pierce be activated off of the physically unable to perform list today or sometime this week? That's one thing to keep an eye on for sure. We've talked about it a few times over the last few weeks, more than a few times actually. Linebacker rotation, will that be sort of solidified here over the next couple of days? And the last thing I'm looking at, Kevin, is also the health of Travarius Ward. Do we see him get back to practice at some point? He's been out for a while now with a back injury, and he has not practiced since August 9th.
A thought is maybe a few more starters will actually play Saturday in the preseason finale, so we'll see if Shane Steichen has any clarity on that later today. And an update on the kicker competition. Brian Mason, the special teams coordinator, spoke yesterday, so we'll provide that for you here upcoming. You were over at Victory Field last night, a little charity softball action. Again, proceeds for this going to the Pacers Family Foundation. By all accounts, looked to be an outstanding crowd out there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Shout out to Rachel Simon. She's involved with the Pacers, related to, obviously, to Herb Simon, the team owner. She spoke and was talking about being collaborative with the Colts yet again, because they partnered previously last week to donate money to some of the flood relief here in Indiana. And so last night, when Tyrese Haliburton was up in one of the later innings, Carly Ursay-Gordon and Kalen Jackson got out there, KB, and they said if Tyrese got on base, they would give $100,000 to the foundation, and he got it done with a single. So, yeah, a lot of fun energy last night, a lot of crossover between the Fever, Pacers, and Colts. It's an overall fun night.
The best softball player, Caden Curry, Obi Toppin?
I would say Caden Curry. Bryce Betcher was kind of good, but you could tell he was just chilling because he played at a really high level baseball-wise. But, yeah, Caden Curry definitely got some things done. I got on him for dropping a home run over the fence, but, he's got to protect himself a little bit.
Yeah, Bryce Betcher was drafted into the major leagues.
Yeah, and surprisingly, he didn't go yard. But this is also funny, and this should probably be on, like, the blooper reel. Laquan Treadwell hit a home run at some point during the game, and he forgot to tag home base. Had to go to video replay, and bad luck.
He just head of the dugout after hitting third?
Well, he rounded third and came home and did all the celebrating, but they slowed down the replay, Kevin. Stepped everywhere but on home plate. It was very much like the A.D. Mitchell version of hitting a home run.
Gosh, oh boy. Now I've got even more frightened chills across my body, more than I had when I saw a video that you posted last night from the softball game. We'll have to get to that here in just a second. Major League Baseball, per usual, kind of a quiet Monday. Cubs 7-0 over the Diamondbacks. The Reds, horrific. They're shut out by the Giants. Guardians 4-2 over the Angels. I did see you got Lexi Hall night over at Victory Field coming up on Thursday. She'll be signing autographs and throwing out the first pitch over there. And Mark, oh boy, Bluey Bingo on Sunday.
I know. I think we're doubling up on our nights at Victory Field this weekend, because Saturday is WWE night, where they're giving out rowdy bobbleheads. So I for sure want one of those. And then, Bluey Day.
It's like the Dykton weekend of the year.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah, the line's going to stretch to
we need to get
Shapiro's.
those tickets now. We standing outside 3 hours ahead of first pitch.
Although I'll say this, if the Dyktons are sitting out in the outfield, I wouldn't want to be next to Mark with some, nice grass out there.
You never know. Nature calls.
Can you bring animals to an Indians game? Can you bring your dog?
Oh, yeah, they bark in the park all the time.
To the outfield action there. Marion U Indy Thursday night. Speaking of a busy weekend for you.
It's a good one.
Key Stadium for that one. Again, we'll get college football underway 6 o'clock on Thursday. I know Butler is hosting in their season opener. I think we'll talk with Kevin Lynch, right? The head coach coming up later this week.
Yeah, that's the plan. I believe Thursday
For the Butler head coach in IndyCar. It's a busy, busy month of August for IndyCar. They'll continue things coming up in Milwaukee, back on the Oval there. It's actually a doubleheader, Saturday and Sunday for IndyCar. All right, coming up on the other side, what did we witness from the Colts yesterday? I had to laugh at, not laugh, but more just felt bad, honestly, for Brian Mason describing his history of knee injuries and the softball game last night. There was a bit of a sight that I had to cover my eyes for, but I think all parties escaped anything from a serious nature on that front. So we'll hit all of that here on this Tuesday morning. It is the Fan Morning Show here, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Today's Fox 59 Weather Authority forecast from the Armor Air Weather Center. Armor Air, we do what's right on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're going to have another beautiful day with mostly sunny skies and a high of 81 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant. Lows will fall into the lower 60s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
It looks to be another nice day based off that here in the Circle City. Thank you for starting your Tuesday with us. We are the Fan Morning Show. And James, you were out at Victory Field last night. Team Jones versus Team Haliburton. That would be, of course, Daniel Jones and Tyrese Haliburton going back and forth. Team Haliburton, the convincing winner. That's right. In that
yes, according to Dustin DePierac and his great book that he kept for the Indy Star. Shout out to the Pacers reporter for them. 28-8.
Mark, you ever kept a book at a baseball game?
Can't say I have.
Oh, man. So you're basically calling me a loser.
I mean, I remember I had to keep score for my brother's Little League game, and he's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, not really. I would just go up and go get a walking taco and some Big League Chew. And I remember I just scribbled in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark, I think keeping the book is probably a little more fun as an adult than it is as a kid.
Sit in the seats. What about nowadays? Now that you're a grown man.
Kids, can we get ice cream? Can we go get Dippin' Dots? Can we go... How many beer bats do you have, Dad? Jeez.
Yeah, let me ask you, Kevin, how much time do you have to keep a book at a ball game now?
Well,
the kids are going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Rosie was real young. I think it's fun. Color in the little diamond on the field, and all of that. So I'm sure Dustin DePierac had a slew of different lineup changes.
He mentioned in one of his tweets that there's been about 8 or 9 lineup violations.
Not a very standard lineup card is what you're saying there.
Exactly.
Now, I will say that I had to cover my eyes when I witnessed one video that you posted last night.
I think I can guess which one you're talking about.
Daniel Jones. And again, hustle, effort, playing through the whistle, running things out. None of this is in question of Daniel Jones. None of this. But I'll tell you what, man, I did not need to see that dude trying to beat out a fielder's choice last night at Victory Field. And when he extended to hit that first base, I thought to myself, oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Didn't someone tell him before? He's wearing a red jersey for a reason right now. Did he really need to give that sort of effort to try and beat out a double play?
Yeah, so the funniest part about this is that he hits into the double play.
As soon as the ground ball happened, I thought to myself, oh, no.
Yeah.
He's going to try and beat this out.
And I think he was trying to get himself back into the game at that point, or his team back into the game. And so I think it was Riley who actually picked up the double play and threw it over to Obi at first. But my point is, after that happens, what's not in the video, Kevin, is that he begins to argue the call of being out. He's looking back at the replay. He's kind of giving it to the ump and the officials. And, a lot of that I think is just playing up to the crowd a little bit and having some fun with the other athletes. But I just couldn't really believe that was something that was happening. And I'm like, dude, Daniel, you must be feeling good because, brother, you're scaring all of us.
Well, and you know what? When I saw Riley Leonard start things, I thought to myself, oh, boy, Riley Leonard's trying to get his guy hurt. Riley's saying, you know what?
You can't put that on Riley, man.
You know what? Right here, right now, I'm going to try and get the double play and see if Daniel Jones can test some things here.
You know what? QB2, all this discussion, I'm about to be QB1.
Riley Leonard, and by all accounts, an unbelievable human being, of course, would never be doing something along those lines. But, oh, man, when I saw that video, I thought to myself, dude, we don't need to see it. Because you do see that. I mean, in all seriousness, you do see that in baseball. I wouldn't say like often, but Mark, you've seen enough highlights of people trying to extend to first base.
Oh, yeah.
And it just being awkward.
Do that extra stretch out of your leg, yeah.
You land on the base wrong. You land on the first baseman, all of those things. So, boy, that was quite the sight. Tyrese Haliburton spoke last night, and James, you and I have said this numerous times about Haliburton. Just love, honestly, hearing him talk. I
Yeah.
think he cares. He provides insight. He's candid on a variety of topics, no matter what he's asked. And I thought last night, him explaining a little bit more on his Achilles rehab and the timetable difference between him and Daniel Jones was enlightening. Because again, when Tyrese gets out there for real basketball coming up here in October, that'll be about 16 months
Right.
removed from the torn Achilles. When Daniel Jones plays real football here in 2.5 weeks, that will be September 13th. That will be about 9 months.
Yeah.
It's a stark contrast. 9-16 from an injury that I think we've kind of generally ballparked a year-ish, give or take, for that. And I thought Haliburton had some interesting comments last night.
He definitely did. I enjoyed hearing from him and just hearing his perspective on the injury, because if anybody can relate to what Daniel is going through, it is the other prominent professional athlete in our city. So, Mark, if you got that queued up, here is what Tyrese had to say when he was discussing being in contact with Daniel Jones about the Achilles recovery and just their two timelines.
Yeah, we talked. We talked a good amount. Obviously, we have the same surgeon, so it's interesting. Like, he got hurt very much so closer to now than I did. And he's coming back earlier. It's just how the schedule worked out. So I'm really excited to see how everything pans out for him. And I know he's going to do great, and I'm really excited that he's back. And I know the city is as well. So we've had a few conversations. Help him. I'll be an ear as much as I can. So we've had some great combos.
Tyrese later, added, James, that he's curious how Daniel will feel 3 months from now. In that, explaining about his own rehab, he mentioned that, at 9 or 10 or 11 months, I felt like I could play.
Yeah.
But to speak to how I feel now, 13 or 14 months removed from it, is really different than how he felt at 10 or 11.
I think we should just go ahead and play it so we can hear straight from his mouth. But everything you said there definitely kind of perked my ears up and piqued my interest as well.
With the Achilles, like, the recovery, there's a big difference from like 9 to 12, 12 to 15. That's what I've heard from everybody. And even I, at 9 months, I felt like, hey, I could probably play. But even where I feel now is like completely different than I did 9 months ago. So he doesn't necessarily have the benefit of that. He's at 9 months now. But I'm very curious to see how he feels in 3 months. Obviously there's less movement in his position than what I do running, more. But I'm excited to see. I know he's going to be great. I know he's going to do awesome. So I'm excited to see.
And the one thing I'll add is that when Tyrese is talking about this, it's kind of lost on you, at least when you're at the game yourself watching it, Kevin, that yes, the last time he was on a basketball court playing professionally for the Pacers, he got hurt. But as much as we were all sitting there watching, at least for some of the Colts reporters that were there, like making sure Daniel looks good and he stays healthy, it's like Tyrese was kind of an afterthought because of how much time has passed since his injury. Like, no one, I think, was sitting up there monitoring Tyrese's movements like I was to a degree with Daniel. And not saying I was sitting there worried about Daniel and I'm scared that something's going to happen, but I think that there was just a little more heightened awareness around it because of the limited timeline.
Well, it's also just the unique nature of quarterback. How many positions in sports literally wear a different color jersey in practice?
Yeah.
How many positions in sports do they literally say you're not allowed to touch that person in practice?
Yeah.
Like, none. It's literally the most unique position in sports. And I know I'm repeating myself here, although I feel like I haven't said it in a while, but this comes back to the 5-month refrain that I've had about Daniel Jones. To me, there's two questions, and we know the answer to the first question. The two questions are, when is he back playing football? And when is he back playing football like himself? And to me, those are two very different answers. And listen to Tyrese Haliburton if you want confirmation on that. We know he's going to be back playing football on September 13th.
Right.
But again, when is he back playing like himself?
Yeah.
And I think Tyrese's words echo that. And Ty mentioned at this point, this is probably a month or two ago, where he was like, actually, it might have been closer to the end of the Pacers regular season, but he was like, offensively, I feel fine right now.
Yeah.
When I can kind of dictate my own movements, I feel good. But he was brutally honest. He's like, some of these interns are driving by me right now
Yeah.
on defense. Like, that's a little bit more difficult. So again, for Daniel, well, yeah, the 3-step, the 5-step, the 7-step, when you can script it, when you know you're wearing a red jersey, there's a level of, I think, just confidence you have that inevitably goes away on September 13th. And what happens when, whatever, Kyle Hamilton is chasing you down on a 3rd and 6? And how does your body kind of react to those movements, when all of a sudden you've got 11 dudes trying to take your head off?
Yeah.
That, to me, I think is just going to be such the unknown to it all. But, again, I thought those words from Haliburton were, per usual, very candid.
Yeah, and, again, we get away from that conversation a little bit and getting back to the game. Just a hilariously fun environment. I thought any kid that got a chance to go to that event, you'll probably remember that for a long time. A lot of people got a chance to get signatures from pretty much all their favorite athletes in the city, especially a lot of Pacers, and just a cool event and something that I'm glad Tyrese brought back. And honestly, Kevin, it really re-emphasized how much he means to this city, because when he got announced, boy, it was like a rock star being announced. And I'm like, man, this dude really came here and made this place his home. And as I've always said, since he's kind of been here and taken off, when you tell a story of Tyrese Haliburton's career and you have to mention that it didn't start here, it's going to sound like it's incorrect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, the Kings Haliburton jerseys, those will be like college tailgate jersey wearing, college kids are like,
for sure.
Oh, yeah, I got the Haliburton Kings jersey. You didn't know he was a King at some point.
Right.
But, like, I would argue, James, he might be the one athlete in the city that could get all those people together.
Yeah.
And by all those people, I mean the MC. Not everybody's getting McAfee.
Yeah.
McAfee is there's a lot that goes with Pat, frankly. There's just, he is a busy human, and financially, look at his contract with ESPN. I don't know if anyone else were to ask him if he is getting Pat McAfee and Kelsey Mitchell and Daniel Jones, a slew of Colts. Outside of Caitlin Clark, you had and Aaliyah Boston, and again, the Fever just wrapped up a long road trip. You had everybody that was everybody.
Yeah.
Inside of Victory Field last night, with the Colts about to practice here today, tomorrow, and Thursday. So yeah, it looked to be a great night over there at Victory Field. Again, we're on Alec Pierce pup watch today. He was there last night, correct? Obviously,
yes,
not
but he never
playing.
played. And trust me, I had the phone ready if he ever stepped into the batter's box. But he did not play yesterday. I did get a video of him walking around after, was it Jay Huff hit a home run? So he went out there to kind of celebrate. I didn't see really anything that would make me think, oh, my God, he's 100% healthy, or, oh, my God, he's never going to play, in the season opener. I don't know. I just put the video out there, let people kind of see where he's at, and we will obviously find out more concrete football information today, tomorrow, Thursday, as we head into the final preseason game.
So just kind of update everybody on where we're at with Alec Pierce. We are now approaching, or maybe we're at 5 months post-surgery.
Right.
And again, that is kind of the middle of where Alec Pierce himself had mentioned the timetable back in the spring. He said that when he had surgery in late March, he thought it'd be a 4 to 6 month, or was told it'd be a 4 to 6 month recovery. Well, this is 5 months. If you want to go off of the Chris Ballard 1 to 2 week timetable that he mentioned at the start of training camp, today's 4 weeks. So again, that continues to be my question, James, with all of this is what has changed since Ballard said that at the start of camp? Ballard is not just going to say some random timetable to say some random timetable. He clearly was told that 1 to 2 weeks was the thought process.
Right.
Well, now we're at 4. And so if he's not practicing today, that adds another layer on top of all of this. And if for whatever reason he's not practicing today, probably means he doesn't practice this week, and that now shrinks it to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
From the season opener. And my question then would be, A, can he play week 1? B, how much can he play? Because he's usually out there for like 95% of the snaps. And him being out there is a threat. It's like, no, you got to have a safety over there. Like, that dude can burn you. Keenan Allen doesn't bring that presence, frankly. That's just not his skill set. That's not his game. So, I think it goes without saying just how important it is to continue to monitor this and see how quickly he gets back.
Definitely. And so that'll be a big factor in what the Colts want to do this season, especially early in the season. And like you mentioned, KB, will he be Alec Pierce right away, or will there be some ramp-up time there? And just so you all know, so Alec is on the physically unable to perform list right now. He has to be taken off that list before the start of the regular season, or else he'll be forced to miss the first 4 games of the regular season. So if you go back a couple years to when Jonathan Taylor was kind of going through this, he did miss the first 4 games of the year. And so for Alec, it doesn't mean that, if he's taken off of this list, he's going to be automatically ready for week 1. That just means that it won't be a month into the season. As far as his recovery, that kind of gives us a more concrete timeline, but just letting you all know the rules there. So as long as he's on this list, something has to happen, like a transaction, a roster move for him to be eligible to even play in week 1.
By Sunday.
So we got, 5 days?
Yeah. So roster cuts again. Preseason finale, 1 o'clock Saturday. Roster cuts then Sunday evening. Mark, will you cue this up from Barry Odom yesterday? Again, so much of this news right now in sports, and particularly college sports, is just the lunacy, if I could use that word, about literally dudes that have played in the NFL. And my stance is this when it comes to eligibility for college players. And we saw this in college basketball last year. The Charles Bediako case at Alabama is kind of the prominent one. As soon as you participate with a professional team, I don't care if it's a rookie minicamp in May. I don't care if it's a G League, whatever, summer league game in Vegas. I don't care if it's certainly preseason football here in the month of August. To me, you're done with college sports. Done. You're not going back. I don't care what happens. So for me, I look at Mark. You said you don't have the Barry Odom comments?
I have.
Yeah, so Odom had some, I'll try to find this audio, but he had some really interesting comments yesterday in regards to, just, I use the word lunacy. I think Barry Odom would probably use that word as well. And James, you would think if there would be one team out there in a prominent conference that might say, you know what, we might need to explore NFL players coming back to college football. Purdue might be one of those teams.
Yeah.
Just to help your cause. But I just cannot wrap my mind around any sort of this dude is leaving the Cleveland Browns to go back and play college football. Like, what? It makes no sense to me.
It's just an insane time, and I don't know. Will it ever make sense, Kevin? Because it doesn't seem like college sports has an opportunity to ever make sense to me. Everything always gets more confused, and I feel like as the days go by, and again, I'm just 30, I'm getting up there a little bit, but not a whole lot. I feel like the old man yelling at the cloud, because everything that I grew up knowing and loving is changing on me. And now it's not even changing for the better. It's for the worse, I think. And yeah, maybe I can get off my soapbox now, but that's where I kind of stand on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, this is kind of a half joke here, but Ryle says here, yeah, if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'm heading back to college after this contract. I do think there are some, again, technicalities of this is mainly like the undrafted free agents of the world.
Yeah.
And, we had Mike Neislich from the Bloomington Herald-Times on yesterday, and, in regards to the IU players, whether that's Stephen Daly, whether that's Kellen Wyatt, those two players, again, they never signed with the NFL. They both unfortunately suffered injuries in their, final year at Indiana. And that's kind of what Kurt Cignetti was talking about yesterday about, we actually feel like there was an element to them not, finishing out their final year from an eligibility standpoint here. Mark, go ahead and play. This is Barry Odom yesterday after Purdue practice, asked about this current situation.
We have talked about it. I look at the value of the game of college football, and I want to protect that. At some point, it ends for everybody. You know what I mean? And the ability now that we're searching NFL rosters for guys that may or may not make a team, and then that we're going to allow them back to play the game, it's mind-boggling to me. I want to protect college football. It's been around a long time. We're doing a lot of really great things. I don't know that this is the best for the sport of college football and opportunities that are created for young people that are of college age. So, would I take Manny Powell back? That'd be kind of fun, right? But who am I going to walk in the locker room and say, hey, all the work that you've put in, right, from January until today, I appreciate it, but we got this guy that, he just played the Miami Dolphins last week, but we're going to bring him in. He's taking your locker and your scholarship and your game time. So I don't know that I have a full understanding of legally all the decisions that are being granted at this point. I think more than anything, and as a leader, you're supposed to do what's right. And they haven't called and asked me what I think about the rulings, but for the purity of the game, I don't know how many NFL guys we need to bring back. And I called Drew Brees, and today was trying to.
So again, that's Barry Odom. He jokes about calling Drew Brees, seeing if he could come back. But James, when you hear that, mind-boggling, purity of the game. And I'm not going to act like we're going to get all of college football back for those that, want to go back to whatever, pre-NIL. And I don't think Barry Odom is saying any of that.
Right.
But the fact that you're playing literally in the NFL. I mean, we're talking about dudes that have had multiple sacks in preseason games.
Yeah.
Going back to college football. To me, it's, I said lunacy. Barry Odom says mind-boggling. That sounds great to me as well.
I think the part where he talks about having to have a conversation with a kid that you've committed to, they've committed to you, they've invested themselves in the program from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint. Yes, they might have got paid to come there, but they did everything the quote-unquote right way, and then to come in there and kind of rip the rug from underneath them, I think that that's a tough thing to do. And I'm not necessarily sitting up here and saying that you have to ignore the possibility of making your team better, because ultimately in college sports, it's not like youth sports. You're paid to win. You're not paid to necessarily care about the feelings of how you win, but that would still be a hard pill, I think, for any coach to swallow if you truly feel like you care about your players and the guys you brought into your program and them as human beings, because I can only imagine how much that will flip somebody's world upside down if suddenly the scholarship that you worked your you-know-what off for is taken from you because a guy who had an opportunity to already play in your position and have the opportunities you already have had, they moved on, then they come back and take yours again. That just doesn't feel like morally right. And yeah, I think that this is a terrible kind of gray spot, no man's land that we find ourselves in with college sports.
Yeah, again, we'll discuss this a little bit more. Stephen Godfrey, who does a great job covering college football, he's going to chat with us coming up here at 8:15. We'll hit on this, and we are here. Week 0 is here. I believe only one ranked team playing this weekend. That'll be USC, a little double in action, North Carolina and TCU there. Does Belichick get left on the tarmac internationally?
How many games did he win last year? Was it 2? Might
Jordan,
be a
I
little
think
bit
we
more.
missed our flight. Jordan.
It wasn't good.
I think we missed our flight, Jordan. Get off Timo. I think we missed our flight.
Isn't that the thing in the NFL, right? Don't we have frequently fired coaches after the international game?
That is true. Would you just stay? Like, if you got fired overseas, would you just stay? If you're that rich, I feel like, oh, well, you know what? I ain't coming back for a week. I got the money to stay. I'm not going home.
Buyout looks pretty healthy.
Yeah. So last year he was 4-8.
I just remember I think they played TCU in the opener, and I remember the opening
Oh,
drive.
yeah.
I think Carolina went like right down the field and scored. And I mean, again, nothing is better than just live in-game reaction to old Twitter. And I mean, you would have thought build the statue next to North Carolina, next to the Dean
He
Dome
like
right
basically invented sliced bread.
Right, literally, yes. Lombardi, you have moved down the rung. It's clearly Belichick atop the list, and then the rest of the game unfolded.
Boy, that was a beat down for Mr. Belichick.
So now we get to start the season with him again.
Between the beatdown of Belichick and then Colorado not having a good game, it's like they're hitching their college football is hitching their wagon to Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders, and it's like, oh boy,
I'm not gonna
that
lie.
didn't work out too great.
The season where Shadur and Travis Hunter were on Colorado was a fun year to watch them. Now, I never thought that they were actually going to like go win a national championship or anything like that, or even get to the playoff. But it was entertaining because of those two players, and they were really good college players, especially even Shadur. I know he's struggling now in the NFL, but he was a good college quarterback. But yeah, now that program looks terrible.
I kind of forget about Travis Hunter now. I'm like, is he going to be good for Jacksonville?
Yeah.
The Colts didn't see him, right? He was already hurt.
No, he was hurt. He only played maybe, I think, in less than half the games last year due to injury. But yeah, that is somebody I've kind of forgotten about. And how does he factor into the landscape of the division? Because we're talking about a Jaguars team that had a really good year last year.
They won the division, didn't they?
Yeah. And that's without what you would think is a playmaker on at least one side of the ball, maybe two.
Coming up, 8 o'clock hour, again, Stephen Godfrey talking a little college football for those that missed it yesterday. Colts special teams coordinator Brian Mason did detail his lengthy history with his knee injury. He also had some actual updates on where they're at from a kicker competition standpoint, so we'll provide that to you. But it was quite the medical report there on a knee that definitely needs a lot of attention at some point here for the Colts special teams coordinator. So we'll hit that as well coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Good Tuesday morning to you. Thanks for spending with us. It is the Fan Morning Show.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Thank you for spending it with us. This is the Fan Morning Show here. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Going to chat a little college football coming up. Stephen Godfrey does a great job on the College Football Inquirer podcast. Pretty entertaining dude. He's going to hop on here to talk a variety of topics in regards to the state of college football. John Nolan, quiet start to the Fever Week, the radio voice for the Fever. They will take on the Connecticut Sun coming up on Friday. That'll conclude their post-All-Star break run here before they take a couple weeks off for the FIBA break. So he'll join us coming up at 9 o'clock. James, that was quite the detail yesterday from Colts special teams coordinator Brian Mason regarding his knee injury.
I think you should say injuries, plural, because, boy, did we get taken on a ride of pain.
Well, and I guess before we play this clip, so Colts special teams coordinator, for those unfamiliar with how this works, basically once you get in season, the coordinators are made available once a week, media-wise. Typically, they're on Zoom for us. Usually with Jim Bob Cooter and Lou Anarumo, offensive and defensive coordinators, they just start with whatever questions there are. Brian Mason likes to go with the opening statement. And to say Brian Mason is detailed in his opening statement would be an understatement.
The opening statement is an opening monologue.
Like, this man is super detailed.
Hey, I know you guys got questions. Let me just answer some of those before you ask me them.
Which he answers like all of them before he even starts. But I seriously enjoy listening to him. He has made me honestly pay more attention probably to special teams than I ever thought he would. In true football form yesterday, he did not want to talk much about his injury situation. He's confused why people care about it. But nonetheless, he provided some pretty wild detail that involves Hinkle Fieldhouse in regards to his constant knee injuries.
For New England, I was a coach with a really bad knee that someday will need a knee replacement. After the New England game, I am a coach with a really bad knee that still needs someday a knee replacement. It's the seventh significant knee injury I've had to my left knee. Had two in high school, two in college, one in 2012 while coaching, one in 2021 while coaching, obviously one in 2026 now while coaching. For those in the crowd, they're like, who cares about a coach being injured? I agree. Why are there so many articles about a coach being injured? I agree. Moving on, I'm just going to brace. Not going to miss any days of work. I'm not going to miss practice. I'm not going to miss any games. And I plan on being on the sideline in the regular season. Never been injured on the sideline before. I tore my ACL in my left knee twice in high school. I tore my ACL in my left knee twice in college, all while playing football, which led to me becoming a student coach because I couldn't pass a physical any longer. Then I tore my ACL in 2012 when I knew I had a bad knee. I was playing noon hoops at Butler. It doesn't show up on my bio, but in 2012, I was coaching at Butler University. My stint there was so short because I ended up leaving to go and coach at Kent State that it doesn't really show up on my resume. I was at Butler. I'm an Indy kid. You have an opportunity to play noon hoops in Hinkle Fieldhouse. I should have said no, I didn't. I blew out my knee again doing that. I then had some cleanup stuff that I had to clean up. I actually hurt my knee in 2021 while I was working at the University of Cincinnati while landscaping, was not on the sideline. So I take it easy with some of the landscaping now. This is the first time on the sideline. I think in order to really be
How about that detail?
I mean, what? Seventh major knee injury. Does his knee still exist? Is it a knee? What constitutes you still having a left knee?
And again, we watched this dude jog on the Grand Park practice fields every single day when we were doing our show up there. Yelled at him one time, "Hey, what do you think about the kicker battle?" And he told us, "Hey,
mid-stride,
Groupie's on fire right now, mid-stride, and Schrader's going to kick later today." Blah blah blah. I mean, gosh, just pure football, dude. Pure football, dude. He's not missing a day of work. He'll be back on the sideline week 1. I do think he's right when he lays out all like the special teams duties.
Yeah, and why he needs to be on the field.
I've always felt this about you want to talk about lunacy, that'll be my word of the day. And Chuck Pagano and I have had this conversation before, so I will say it on air. The lunacy of the Colts and Chuck Pagano calling up the old fake punt years ago.
Yeah.
That play was practiced with Clayton Geathers. It was Griff Whalen and Colt Anderson were the two snapping and the quarterback. The play was practiced with Clayton Geathers. Clayton Geathers got hurt in the game. He was not out there for that play. He got hurt, was in the locker room. So, like, that's part of life as a special teams coordinator. Guys get hurt during the game that play defense or offense, and you've got to scramble. So, as if that play shouldn't have been called for many, many reasons. It certainly should have been called when Clayton Geathers was in the locker room. But again, that's the reality of kind of being a special teams coordinator. All of a sudden it's a third down and you've got Ashton Doolin pulling up on a route, and Ashton Doolin's supposed to be your gunner on fourth down. And now you're scrambling to find, hey, where's DJ Giddens? Hey, where's, Mekhi Blackman, whoever else is supposed to fill in here. So, man, noon hoops at Hinkle.
I don't know too many people say no to that, though.
I know I wouldn't, and
He's spot on. And again, a Zionsville native, for those unfamiliar with Brian Mason's background.
I'm still trying to get a run in at Butler. I have to at least get one bucket on that floor. Are you kidding me? I can relate.
Be damned.
I mean, yeah. Now, I will say when he's talking about the injuries, I'm like, boy, when I get out here tonight with JMV, let me make sure I stretch a little bit and, take some time to take care of myself before I get out there. But, yeah, and the only reason that it threw me off, Kevin, and I didn't mean to put words in his mouth. So I did ask the question that elicited that crazy answer that none of us could have predicted. But when he said initially that I injured my knee when coaching in 2012 and I injured my knee coaching in 2021, I didn't know that he was referring to like when I was coaching at a university. I thought he meant like when I was literally coaching on the sideline. That's why I'm glad he clarified, because I thought he just got hurt and rolled up on previously, and that's why I was asking him. And it's not in the audio that Mark played, but I was just asking really quickly, hey, by the way, did you get hurt on the sideline before, or why are you still there? No, that's actually not the case. Got hurt once on the sideline. This is the most previous time, and like he said, he's a trooper, so he'll be out there.
I kind of want more detail on the landscaping, but
yeah, that sounds a little more embarrassing.
That sounds like a knee injury I could probably get these days.
I think that might be my excuse, to kind of dial back the yard work.
Yeah.
Which you just take one look at my yard and you would argue it's already dialed back.
I can give you some fertilizer if you'd like.
Yeah, look, at least you're not like my dad.
I'm going to need some We Grow Hair Indy for the front lawn.
We had a plant that died on our porch, and I kid you not, I don't think my parents got rid of that pot of dirt until about 2 years ago. It might have been there for 20 years. And it just became one of those things where you don't even notice it. You just walk past it, and it's like, oh, yeah, when someone gets invited over, we should probably move that pot of dirt off the porch.
It's character.
It's a late bloomer, James. You never know.
I don't know if it's blooming, Mark. It is DEAD.
Maybe
the azalea's starting to sprout.
Maybe this El Nino winter will revive it here.
Maybe.
Coming up. Stephen Godfrey in a few. Mark, let's go ahead and do a quick morning check down as we juggle some things here in this 8 o'clock hour.
The Morning Checkdown, brought to you by Suave Men Refreshing Face and Body Wash on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, we'll be at Colts practice later today. We're still the media that is able to watch Colts practice this week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday up there at West 56th Street. James, the items that you'll be keeping an eye out for today, I assume, starts with one Alec Pierce.
Absolutely. Does number 14 get out on the practice field today? Again, he is on the physically unable to perform list, and he needs to be off that list by Sunday to be eligible to play in the season opener. If he is not off the physically unable to perform list by Sunday during roster cuts, he will be forced to miss at least the first 4 games of the season.
Again, Sunday, 6 o'clock, I think, 4 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah.
Roster cuts are due. Saturday is the preseason finale. That is the Detroit Lions and the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see how much starters do play in the final preseason game of the year. And 2 weeks from Sunday, things get real. September 13th with the Baltimore Ravens. The charity softball game last night over at Victory Field looked to be an awesome crowd. The Pacers Family Foundation, to where proceeds went. Tyrese Haliburton was the playing manager for one team, and Daniel Jones, the playing manager for the other team. And James, you said some of the better players in the game. Obi Toppin, Caden Curry.
Yes, they look pretty good. Riley Leonard went yard and then pimped the bat afterward. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun seeing a lot of the guys just be little kids again, because their jobs are stressful. I get it's a game, but when you get to the professional level, it's just not the same anymore. So to be out there, relaxed, having fun, that was cool to see and very humanizing.
I saw a few buttons loose on Grover Stewart's jersey.
Yeah. He took the jersey off at one point. I was thinking, you know what, it probably wasn't the right size. You know, that's a bigger human than most. But he did have a cool moment where he got his son up there. It was his young son's birthday, so let him hit a inside the park home run. And what I laughed about Kevin the most was probably his son, running past first base and not touching it, going back to touch first base, and then just beelining for the outfield. And they had to, like, everyone's on the field like, no, turn, go. So he had a couple of directions, but he got to home base safely.
A couple jagged diamond edges, maybe.
Yeah. No, we didn't stay in the baseline.
Running the bases there. Major League Baseball last night, per usual, kind of a quiet night around the diamond there. Cubs shut out that they had a shutout, and the Reds were shut out, typical for both of those teams this season. Indianapolis Indians, they'll be back at home starting today. That is Victory Field, of course. Back-to-back homestands as they conclude the month of August. We get week 0 of college football locally. You'll get an interesting matchup here Thursday night, 6 o'clock from Key Stadium. It's Mark's Fighting Greyhounds, Indy against Marion. Is how do I say that name? Bartolomeo? Is he the head coach still at Indy?
It sounds about right.
Or is it Chris Keevers?
I don't know.
You aren't keeping up to date with your alma mater?
No.
Jeez, Mark.
I don't remember.
Oh, my gosh.
There's been a lot of influx lately.
You can't find some Marion alums to lay a little, wager down on the game?
No.
It's Chris Keevers, by the way.
I'd have to call the phone number if I did that, I think.
Indy Marion. I would assume that is a pretty competitive game between those two programs. 6 o'clock, that is on Thursday in IndyCar. Back racing. It is a super busy month of August for them. Milwaukee, doubleheader there on the ovals. And for now, Alex Blow is yet to clinch the championship series, but that is only a matter of time in regards to that front there. So, again, a busy month of August when it comes to IndyCar.
You guys got any idea what these Colts rivalry jerseys are going to look like today?
No, and I think they get announced maybe during Jake's show. So I'm curious.
So this is for one game this season?
Yeah, a bunch of NFL teams are unveiling some jerseys and stuff. Like, this is separate from the Disney ones they saw yesterday. By the way, the Colts Disney option, that stinks. That's
I gotta Google this now, Mark.
That was terrible. There was a lot of missed opportunities yesterday on the Disney mashups with the NFL teams, quite honestly.
I must have missed this. So the Colts uniforms are is this for the Texans game? Week 3? Is that the rivalry game?
I think so.
But these aren't the Indiana Knights jerseys, to be clear.
I don't believe so. But the Colts ended up getting, I think it was like Clarabelle or something, the cow for the horse or something. I'm like, don't you have Bullseye from Toy Story, or you got to have some other horses out there that you can use for a Colts mascot than whatever you drug up for the Disney mashup. That one stunk. What was the other one that stunk? There was another one. The Steelers not being Iron Man. I get it's supposed to be like Steel or whatever, but like I forget who they ended up with too. But everyone's like, Iron Man was right there. I need to go with Iron Man. How's that happen?
So is this the same thing, or is this two separate things happening?
This is two separate things. The Disney NFL mashup was just like a bunch of mascots. Like Ham, the pig from Toy Story, was the Commanders. These are like all apparel you can buy now, like shirts, all that stuff and everything. So they did like Disney character and mashups for the NFL teams.
Got it. Yeah, Bullseye would have been great.
Bullseye would have made sense. The Colts one, not good though. That one stunk.
Yeah, the Colts have played with the intelligence of Rex the dinosaur from Toy Story here over the last few years.
The Packers being Chewbacca, how does that make sense? Shouldn't you be like Ratatouille or something with all the cheese?
James, this on the text line from Brandon. Do you guys
pretty mad?
Doesn't make sense.
Do you guys think Alec Pierce really needs training camp to just plug and play week 1 since he did play with Daniel Jones last year?
Not necessarily, but I think he needs to get moving like right now, just to make sure that you are as healthy as you need to be going into week 1. And you kind of just knock the rust off. I get that he's a professional athlete, and I don't take that for granted, so I do trust him to be ready whenever that time comes. But, yeah, just the time on task I think will be very helpful, even though you did play with him last year. And also just because your role is different than it was last year. Like, you're supposed to be the guy in that wide receiver room.
Yeah, I'd probably go there first. Like, the routes that Daniel Jones threw to him last year, there now is an assumption that he is going to be throwing him additional routes. If you want to make the whole route tree sort of example, it's not just going to be go ball, go ball, go ball to Alec Pierce endlessly. And he's missed what? 25 practices this offseason?
Yeah.
That's not nothing. I think there is a reason why you do practice. So, I where I probably sit on this too is like, we're talking about a dude that usually is playing like 95% of the snaps. So again, from a wind standpoint, from a stamina standpoint, his presence on the field is simply great from that aspect of it. And he commands so much attention there that I think it matters a whole lot when it comes to exactly where he is at. So again, that'll be the big news item today as the Colts get ready to practice today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Looking forward to it. Last few days, we get to see a full practice until they shield us from everything we must know.
Until it goes to just stretching after that?
Yeah, I would think so.
All right, let's head to the hotline right now. We'll talk some college football. Stephen Godfrey does an outstanding job. The College Football Inquirer is a wonderful listen. Stephen brings quite the amount of personality and info to that, and he joins us on the hotline. Stephen, good morning, sir. Thank you for the time.
Good morning. I'm going to hijack the segment real fast because, unfortunately, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. What happened in that preseason game? Are you guys that bad? No, this is not smack. I was so shocked. Like, what's going on up there? Because Atlanta might be the worst team in the NFL. That's why I'm genuinely curious what happened.
Well, Stephen, let's just say, as someone that viewed the joint practices, just be grateful that you didn't catch Wednesday or Thursday and had to watch Tua Tagovailoa operate the starting offense.
Operate would be a generous interpretation of that word.
Correct. Yes, operating poorly
also,
would be how I describe it.
I'm sorry about the Matt Ryan thing. We love him. I don't know if you guys realize, but you bought a very, very, very used vehicle, and I apologize about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, that thing turned into a hoopty real quick. It was rough. It was rough towards the end.
Look, man, flood damage is hard to spot in vehicles, okay?
I think that offseason was either going to be Deshaun Watson or Matt Ryan for the Colts. So some might say the Colts maybe got...
Hey, baby. Hey, guess what?
The better.
None of us are the Browns. Congratulations to us all.
Stephen, one of your latest, college football is a mess. The 2026 season will be glorious. Is that where we are with college football right now? Like, it's just messier than messy, but damn, we love rolling in the mud.
It's never not been insane, ever. Like, I'm not a young man anymore, and I've been doing this for a while. When I got into it, I think some of the stuff that we deal with now was under wraps, but it was still happening, right? Like, I don't know if there's ever been a time in college sports where things felt normal or sane. And that's kind of the appeal, the fact that it's always changing and the fact that someone is always really, really upset about it. I think that's kind of like, I can't think of a sports league that's like, this is the last year I'm ever watching. You know, like you don't ever hear that from people about like the NBA or the NHL.
So, Stephen, again, we're talking to Stephen Godfrey, and he's kind enough to join us here on the morning show. College Football Inquiry, you can listen to that wherever you get your podcast alongside Andy Staples and Ross Dillinger, who I had a chance to meet a couple months ago. So
he's boring.
You think so?
Bro, he's so boring.
Well, I don't know if he lives a boring life because that man's phone goes off more than anybody I know. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want that life.
It interrupts their podcast all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate what he does.
It's like a German nightclub. For all his intelligence, he hasn't figured out how to turn the vibrate function off on his phone.
It's like
mute his microphone.
Yeah,
like, it is ridiculous.
Steven, I don't think he believes in the whole do not disturb thing. I think that would probably get him a little antsy there. But you all do a great job of keeping us informed.
No, dude. He's got Adam Schefter blood. Remember Adam Schefter said one time, he's like, I answer it in the shower, I answer it in bed. Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was crazy.
Breaking news dorks.
So, Steven, when you look at, you touched on a little bit there, but the ability now, it seems, for guys to go to the NFL, actually suit up for a preseason game, and then come back to the college ranks, your thoughts are what?
Oh, yeah. It's totally normal. It's insane. I've advocated for player agency in college football for a long time. And this particular phenomenon, let's call it, is a direct result of the people in power in college football refusing to go to an honest collective bargaining platform with the players. We're still sussing out the details of everything that's happened from, 2019, 2020, the Alston Supreme Court ruling, all the way through all the crazy things that have happened. But please don't get it twisted. I know people don't want this. I don't want this. I got tickets to it. I live in Nashville. I got tickets to the Titans game the other night against the Seahawks, and I watched Anthony Hankerson, one of their running backs, like watched him like 10 carries in the second and third quarter, and the dude entered the transfer portal the next day. Played at Oregon State last. Like it's just like, I know there have been bigger headlines, but I had actually, like, I stood on the field and watched him play tackle football in the NFL, and now he's like, yeah, I'll go try and catch on in the Pac-12. Nobody wants this. When the Charles Bediako case first emerged, the basketball player who basically left the NBA's G League and went back to Alabama, it was the first time that I saw a total consensus, meaning fans, college players, pro players, agents, media, everybody said, we don't want this. We don't. And I think you could find the most ardent pro player, members of the media or members of the industry, and they still don't think that you should be sort of swimming against the stream, if you will. But the only way we solve this is for the bad actors involved at the NCAA, in Congress, and in leadership positions in college sports to say, let's treat these people like what they are, which is labor, and let's create a CBA that is binding, that is not affected by a congressional act that could change, or a Supreme Court ruling, or 700 lawsuits that are filed at the state court level. Let's treat these people the way they should be treated, and in turn, we can create parameters. 5 to play 5, 6 to play 5. Or, hey, once you're entered into the NFL, once you're registered with the NFLPA, that's it, man. Even if you get cut from, the Browns or whatever.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that. Stephen Godfrey is with us here on the hotline, an outstanding follow when it comes to the college football landscape. Stephen, your ideal number of playoff teams would be what?
Oh, God. Probably whatever makes people the angriest at this point. I think it's become so silly. 12 is fine. 16 feels great. And then past that, I'm questioning the form and the function of the regular and post seasons. I think the real question to ask is, what are we comfortable changing? So I don't know if it's so much about the raw number. I think that we have to have an honest conversation about why certain leagues would want to immediately kill the conference championship game and why certain leagues don't. I don't like conference championship games. I think they have been kind of a hindrance to the development of an honest postseason that represents the entirety of college football. However, you don't argue with money. And, the SEC championship in Atlanta is a money-making event. It's much more of a cultural touchstone in the Southeastern Conference than any of the other conference championship games are. That's not to speak ill of other games. I've covered 3 or 4 Big Ten championship games. I've seen some amazing games played. I've seen amazing crowds. Yeah, I also saw like Penn State and Oregon kind of show up really, really late and buy $12 tickets because they were more concerned with maybe going to the Rose Bowl. So I think if we can get rid of conference championship games with a sensible financial solution, then let's talk about maybe going from 12 to 16 plus, and we create something on that conference championship weekend that is essentially kind of tantamount to like a first round, a first 4, a play-in, something like that.
Again, that is the voice of Stephen Godfrey, host of the College Football Inquirer podcast alongside Andy Staples and Ross Dillinger. Last one I got for you, Stephen, is about the Hoosiers. We've seen them go from literally worst to first here by winning a national championship last year. They're ranked at number 6 in the AP poll coming into this year. What are your expectations as the Hoosiers begin their title defense?
That they will continue to annoy and upset everyone who's an established brand in college sports. And I cannot tell you how much I love it. I think it's fantastic. I've loved everything about this. I have loved the, how do I say this on the radio? The hurt butt of so many legacy brands in college sports, maybe specifically in Tuscaloosa. I think that we are far too fixated on what Indiana's championship season represents than just enjoying this thing, than just understanding that anything can happen in this sport and that it's not cheating. It's not breaking. It's not, you can use like a Silicon Valley world. Like, oh, he's disrupting. Like Kurt Cignetti was a really good football coach for a really long time who eschewed public attention, right? Look at the jobs that he took and the path that he chose. And he went in and he bet on himself. And yes, he utilized a modern functionality. He flipped over a portion of the JMU roster when he came, and he was very mindful about the transfer portal. That's all fine. That's within the rules. I just think that when people talk about Indiana, they miss the forest for the trees. I tell you one thing, what we should all do is we need to get in the real estate business around. I went to Bloomington to speak to the journalism school in the spring. And I went to an SEC school, and I'm from Georgia, and like all the real estate gets bought up at these really good football towns, and like everybody gets in the condo business. Somebody needs to get in the condo business in Bloomington. I'm just telling you, I feel like, and I say this with all the affection in the world, and one of my long time friends runs Home Field Apparel. So shop at Home Field. They're in Bloomington. But listen to me.
Shout out to Connor Hitchcock.
See, he's the most famous man in Indiana. I could have just said Connor, and everybody knew where it's ridiculous.
Great human, and very talented.
Started Home Field, and I grew up a Georgia Southern fan, and it was like the 12th license that they got when they were still just super tiny, and I was like, I'm in, and I've rode with those guys forever and love them to death. Bloomington might need a little nudge on this is how you do a game weekend. This is how we're going to tailgate. This is how we're going to. They might need a little, an advisor or two to come in and be like, let's get some game day condos in here. Let's get more bars. Let's get more restaurants. I love that town. I love the campus. You can just feel how, in 10 years, it's going to be so much bigger. But no, I'm excited about IU. And anyone who's critical of IU is probably a fan of some legacy brand who got completely spanked at some point by the Hoosiers. And you know what? Deal with it or die mad.
SEC on line 1 for Stephen Godfrey after those statements there. Diehard Falcons fan. Stephen, at halftime of a Colts game with one Matt Ryan years ago, I believe the score was maybe 10-10. Next thing you know, they go down to the CBS sideline reporter to describe the Colts' feeling coming out of the locker room, and she uttered this phrase.
We have Matt Ryan.
Oh, God.
We have Matt Ryan.
We have Matt Ryan.
I don't want to tell you. First off, I love Matt Ryan.
Oh, okay, great human.
I don't want to tell you how much money I spent at the behest of one of my best friends when he was like, "Hey, look, we beat the crap out of the Packers. We're going to the Super Bowl. Let's do it. Let's get tickets. Let's get tickets on the 17th row, 5 days before the Super Bowl."
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah, I was there.
Oh my God!
Oh jeez. I don't think I would have lived that.
So here's the positive thing. If you're an Indiana fan, you already know this, right? Or if you're a Colts fan, everybody else, nothing can hurt me. Right. Nothing. I'm already dead.
Mm-hmm. You are.
Nothing in sports will ever hurt me again.
He's got the knee of Brian Mason, James.
Yes,
and nothing can hurt Stephen Godfrey. Stephen, you do an outstanding job on that podcast covering college football. I love the listen. It's great. Thanks for making time with us, and we'd love to do it again here during the football season.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
Stephen Godfrey right there on the hotline. He's just a good, funny dude.
Hilarious.
And I think provides great info as well.
How about the
We have Matt Ryan.
that is so... You never think in the moment that something's going to go viral like that, but boy, that is going to be the archives forever.
I remember hearing that live, and it was I think Vrabel was still coaching the Titans at the time, and Vrabel was pissed that the team was even tied.
Yeah, she gave updates from Mike Vrabel and Frank Reich.
And it couldn't have been different. And it was Mike Vrabel's pissed off, and it's no, we need to get our act together. We need to come out in the second half, guns blazing. And Frank Reich said, we have Matt Ryan. What? I was that can't be real.
A narrator's voice, and we saw how that game turned out the rest of the way. Falcons fans, we don't really think of them very often, I feel like. At least I don't think of Falcons fans at all. Frankly, I saw some in the crowd at Grand Park, and I was like, oh, wow, there's Falcons fans here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those people, existed. But then you hear Stephen Godfrey mention that, and it's wait, that's the worst loss in sports. Right?
Yeah.
28-3 in a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
What's worse than that?
I don't know if it's worse, but I would argue that number 2 would be the Seahawks throwing at the 1 to knock off Brady.
Yeah, but
no, I agree with you. I'm just saying that is painful because
the building climactic moment to 28-3. Is this happening? It is happening.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
it's happening in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, those are the 2 most painful losses though that I think that I've seen in my lifetime of watching Super Bowls.
And we honestly kind of felt some of that pain because that was still, I think, very much in the we hate the Patriots sort of
oh my gosh, don't get me started.
Community, I feel like that was very quickly. Was that the year after the Josh McDaniels thing?
It might have been.
I feel like it was right around.
I told you all the story about the beef that I had with Darrelle Revis. Lost that battle.
I forgot about you and him chirping at each other.
I
on
will
Twitter.
never forgive Russell Wilson for throwing that football.
My eyes needed to be shielded watching a James Boyd Twitter video from last night. I think it ended okay.
Wasn't golf related?
It was shockingly, it was not.
Shut up, Mark.
It was not golf related, but I need James to confirm that the video ended okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask
This
him
is
about
not
it.
AI, by the way.
I'll ask him about it on the other side. Tuesday morning, this is the Fan Morning Show.
Today's Fox 59 Weather Authority forecast from the Armor Air Weather Center. Armor Air, we do what's right on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're going to have another beautiful day with mostly sunny skies and a high of 81 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant. Lows will fall into the lower 60s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
So I was confused earlier when we were talking Colts jerseys. There is a Nike rivalry jersey that I guess is being revealed today, and the Colts have teased out some like images of players reacting to
Yeah,
this
I
jersey.
think it's like league. I think it's league wide.
Right,
There's
right,
a bunch
right.
of them. Yeah.
And the Colts players look to be thrilled for what
Yes.
it's worth
Mhm.
with these pictures. That is separate from this Disney
Correct.
Right.
combo yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it right here. It says that the Nike rivalry uniforms will be released at 10 a.m. today. And the Colts will wear these in week 3 against the Houston Texans, which will be their second home game of the
Gosh,
year.
that's such a big game.
Huge game. And so we'll see what that entails. I think there's going to be some black in this uniform. That's my guess.
Which, again, the Indiana Knights jerseys have black in the helmet. Kind of
Yeah.
that matte look to them.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the jersey might be
The
black.
one
That's my guess.
The one tease I saw was you can't see the player, you just see very white gloves grabbing the hammer to hit like the anvil. And so I'm like, is that like a whiteout situation? Is that what we're looking like, a frosty Colts jersey or something?
By the way, that was embarrassing how the Colts played, responding to Joe Wright's banging the anvil. Joe Wright did a hell of a job banging that
Yeah.
anvil, and the Colts backed him up like that.
That was a letdown.
If I'm Joe Wright, I tell them no. No.
You're done?
I'm not back doing that.
You'll see me next time you guys get a primetime game. is what I'm
Don't
telling you.
ask me again if that's how you're going to react to it. So the Disney thing is just like merchandise.
Yes.
And this is with Horace, the Disney character. He's the 1930s best friend of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, come on. That's who
I'm
you had to
looking
pull
at it
out.
right here. It's okay, but
No.
yeah, it could have been better.
That's who you had to pull out. You couldn't have gotten Bullseye's sitting right there.
I'm with you on Bullseye, Mark.
Couldn't get Bullseye or Pegasus, like horse related.
Max Bone's going to look at freaking Horace and be like, what in the hell is this?
Maximus from Tangled, the horse. Come on now. Had to go in 1930. It looks like a anorexic cow out there. Like, what are we doing? You couldn't have gotten anything else?
Did you say an anorexic cow?
Yeah. That's a terrible one. There were some real big swings and misses on those. I saw, like I said, Pittsburgh Steelers had Pete, the Mickey Mouse villain, instead of Iron Man. The Panthers got the Panther from Jungle Book. I'm like, Black Panther is sitting right there. Why would you not have done that?
Noah's saying the Colts are wearing these rivalry jerseys 3 times. What, you only play. How many games do you play? You got 3 different rivalries?
3 times? I thought it was a one-off.
So they're wearing them 3 times and Indiana Knights once. So that
Boy.
means you wear your normal jerseys?
All 4 teams from the AFC South and all 4 teams from the NFC North will wear new rivalry uniforms during the 2026 season.
Oh, wait, it's just these 2 divisions?
I think, because I think the Bears are playing, I think theirs is the Christmas Day game against the Packers. That's the only time they're wearing them.
Boy, now I'm even more confused by
See,
this.
I don't think that's correct. I think that they're only wearing this one time. I'm on the Colts website right now.
Week 3, Houston.
Yes.
Got it.
And then when they face the other teams in the other rivalry matchups, the Jaguars and the Texans will wear their rivalry uniforms.
Now, last night, charity softball game, Victory Field. Daniel Jones, player manager for one team. Tyrese Haliburton, player manager for the other team.
Yes.
If we had this conversation yesterday, what is the last thing you want to see tonight at Victory Field? I would have said the last thing I want to see is Daniel Jones, the ultimate professional, the great hard worker, the great hustler, the great effort man, the great competitor. The last thing I want to see is him trying to beat out a double play. Literally the last thing. If you could envision, infield fly rule, I don't care if the ball's on the ground. Infield fly rule, that's what I'm doing right away. As soon as Daniel Jones hits a ground ball that looks like it's going to be a double play. And sure enough, James Boyd, what do I see from your Twitter account? Daniel Jones trying to bust his you-know-what down the first base line to beat out and extend the leg. I think it was the right leg, too. Extend the leg to first base. That was frightening.
So basically, did I get caught snitching? Am I going to get in trouble with Daniel today and say, hey, man, you'd have to post that?
You were just doing your job, and trust me, there was probably 10,000 people in the stands that were going to be tweeting that out, right after you. He looked to be okay after the play.
He's healthy. What are we worried about? He told you he's healthy.
Could you imagine?
Oh, God, I don't want to imagine that.
Because
no, I cannot imagine.
We do see this in baseball. First base is one of the more, I feel like, injured spots on the baseball diamond.
Fair enough. No, I'm not arguing against
Guys
that.
trying to beat out, competitive ground balls or double plays or a bunt, or they step on the base awkwardly. They step on the first baseman's back of their foot, back of their heel, and ankle. When I saw you tweet out that video, there's part of you that didn't even want to watch it.
but you couldn't look away. Shout out to Daniel Jones. He went yard on Tyrese Haliburton in his first at-bat, but that 4-0 lead they took was quickly flipped to a 28-8 loss.
Boy, Eddie Garrison sent this out from the NFL. Rivalries 2026 schedule for what it's worth, and the Colts are listed 3 times.
I know, but I'm saying they wear their rivalry uniform the first time.
Oh, so it's only the home team that wears it?
Right, and then other teams wear theirs.
Well, that makes sense because the 4 games listed are 4 individual home games.
Exactly.
Colts, Jags, Titans, Texans.
Trust me, not Eddie.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Oh, I always will.
Because people are jersey obsessed. Like you know that full well. People are jersey number obsessed.
Oh yes, I mean as soon as
I mean to be fair, you are a shoe obsessed individual.
I am. Oh boy, I probably have 30 pairs of gym shoes, and I probably need to get rid of 15 of them. Speaking of that, I will do that probably later this year. Shout out to Brownsburg. They do the Sneakers for Santa every year.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's a Saturday event they do?
Yeah, I typically drop off some sneakers there whenever I get a chance to. But, yeah, so as far as the numbers and stuff goes, when I put out the first video that I had of Keenan Allen rocking number 10, there were so many people that were saying, this looks terrible. He's got to get number 13. He's won
Moncrief.
He's won there for his whole career and all this stuff. So, yeah, people really care about numbers, man. And the players do, too.
Well, and I'll go back to last night. I thought those baseball uniforms looked awesome.
Ooh,
and sweet. And again, I know nothing about finances and this and that, but I think it'd be really cool. It sounded like they were auctioning off some of those jerseys last night. I think it'd be really cool if they actually sold those for real. And then 5-10% of the proceeds go to the Pacers Foundation.
Yeah.
Or how about if you buy the Pacers baseball uniform, Tyrese Haliburton, TJ McConnell, Jay Huff, Aaron Nesmith, whoever, 5% goes to the Pacers Foundation. If you buy the Colts version of it, Daniel Jones, Tyler Warren, Grover Stewart, etc., 5% goes to Kicking the Sigma.
I think I'm cool with that.
I mean, and again, and if that makes the jersey $10 more, so be it. I think like the baseball uniform look people love, even if it's not like Pete Crow Armstrong, Ellie De La Cruz.
I just kind of feel like it's like, what's the word? It's easy to wear no matter what age you are. I don't know.
I like that.
Like, I don't know if you like the basketball jersey hits the same as the baseball jersey when you're getting up there. So, yeah, I would argue that baseball a little more casual, throw it on with some jeans or whatever. Yeah, you can look good.
Saw a trade in the NFL yesterday. Kind of got me thinking about the Colts and something they might do with roster cuts upcoming on Sunday. We will hit that John Nolan Fever radio voice at 9. Good Tuesday morning to you. Really nice day here in Indy. Thanks for spending it with us. Indoor and outdoor concrete. The Bowen family, we were having dinner out back last night. That is a new sidewalk back there to our garage. And thank you to Galaxy Concrete Coatings for that. That's what they can provide you. Indoor and outdoor concrete. Garages, basements, patios, porches, in sidewalks. You head to their website, galaxyconcretecoatings.com. To me, that is a great place to start because when you're there, you'll see the pictures and styles that are available to you. And then after that, I think you'll be very pleased with manufacturer upgrade the warranty from 15 years to lifetime. A very efficient process. We got a new front porch, new sidewalk. That was installed about 24 hours. Not too much of a hassle whatsoever. So, again, that's indoor and outdoor concrete. It's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Contact them today by visiting their website. It's galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
nobody knows.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
James, we saw a trade around the NFL yesterday, and I think for a lot of people, it's probably a nothing burger. It was the Texans trading away a safety to the Patriots for a wide receiver, Keyshawn Boutte. And if you recall, when we had, was it Doug Kyde, I think it was, from the Boston Herald back on a week or so ago, right before those Patriot joint practices, he touched on how deep New England was at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And how he felt like that could be an area of whatever real strength for the team. I think he mentioned even 7 he thought could make the roster. We would not say that at all about the Colts, to be clear. Contrastly, Houston has what? A great defense. So you got to assume there's parts of that Texans defense that they feel like they have real depth. And that's kind of what this week can be about in the NFL. Teams calling other teams and saying, we like our depth here. We can't keep all of them. We have a void here. Do you have depth there? Oh, you do? Okay. How about we trade our depth spot for your depth spot, and voila. Instead of cutting each individual, you benefit.
Right.
So I bring up all that to say, where would the Colts trade? What spot do you think is deep enough for the Colts to do what you saw Houston and New England do yesterday?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it might be kicker, but they haven't picked one yet. I don't know if I feel strongly enough about either of the offensive or defensive lines. The depth there is suspect. That might be it, Kevin. I really don't know. I'm going through the roster in my head.
The only other one that I threw out there, kicker was my first thought.
Yeah.
Was tight end.
Okay. I can kind of see that.
Do you sit there and say, hey, we have Will Mallory. Let me go here. The Colts you think are thin where?
I think they're thin at offensive line, backup offensive line.
Okay, let's just stop there.
Okay.
I trade Will Mallory. I'm Chris Ballard, and I get from you your offensive tackle version of Will Mallory.
Yeah.
And boom.
Is that worth it?
Now we're happy campers.
Yeah.
Now, again, Will Mallory dealing with a thumb injury right now. Tyler Warren dealing with a groin injury. Again, there's still kind of, a couple things to just sift through there. But,
right.
I think the thought is obviously with Warren that the injury is not serious. But that would be something that I'm keeping an eye out for. And then obviously kicker trade.
Yeah.
I mean, best case scenario for the Colts is they go out there Saturday. And what did Brian Mason say yesterday? Sounds like kickers will continue to split on Saturday. Sounds like both will kick.
Yeah.
Spencer Schrader and Blake Grupe. That both of them make kicks. And all of a sudden, you can net either a draft pick for them, or you can do the same thing. You can trade whatever. Here's our Blake Grupe. Here's our Spencer Schrader.
Yeah.
Now do you have an offensive tackle that might not make your football team, but we're intrigued by?
I don't hate the idea behind that. And it's something they have to kind of explore. But like you said, there's a lot of real-world factors, too, because you're not just in a vacuum. The injuries kind of factor into your decisions as well. But the Colts do have some interesting decisions to make here as we get closer to the regular season.
I still hear Schrader, by the way. When I hear the Colts talk about this kicker battle, I hear Spencer Schrader.
Yeah, and you know what? I do appreciate that Brian Mason gives us the numbers, because he told us yesterday that Blake Grupe is at about 86% made field goals throughout the entirety of the offseason.
Including games.
And Schrader's at 81%. Because the percentage that we're working off of is the stuff that we've seen
just in practice.
And so obviously they've seen those players a lot more than we have. And I didn't realize the gap wasn't as far as we had kind of witnessed it to be. So, yeah, I would argue I'm hearing Schrader as well. And I can even pull up real quick some of the direct quotes that Brian Mason gave. And he was pretty, blunt with some of his responses. And I love talking to this guy because, boy, he is just a straight shooter. But 2 quotes from yesterday stood out to me, Kevin. Schrader really closed the gap, I think, these last 2 weeks. And then was it Chu that asked him, how much do you weight practice kicks versus in-game kicks? And he said flatly, in-game kicks carry the most weight.
Yeah. And then kind of had one of those pauses and then got a little bit more into it. The other thing he said that stood out to me, and then when he kind of further got into the answer, James, he detailed, we're going to pick a kicker that we feel like gives us the best chance over 17 games.
Yeah.
Into the regular season. He emphasized that it's not going to be perfect. Our goal is north of 90%. That's our team goal. But, when you hear more of the kind of the long-term emphasis, more of it's a 4-month grind, it's a full season, this and that.
Yeah.
Well, that means the guy that's coming back from the injury, I think would get more benefit of the doubt. So they're going to kick today. They're going to kick Thursday. They're going to do a little bit more kicking this week than they would do normally in a regular season week. Again, both will kick on Saturday. But right now, I think it's Schrader. I'm a little bit more up in the air on what I think the Colts are going to do at backup quarterback.
Yeah, no, I do think that's a real conversation and a real debate. Because in my eyes, Kevin, I thought Anthony was really poor throughout a decent portion of training camp, if not most of training camp. And then Riley was just kind of okay. And then in the games, it's kind of flip-flopped a bit where Anthony has been okay, and he actually had a good performance against the Patriots, and Riley has had 2, I would say, underwhelming performances throughout the preseason games. So again, how much do you weight games versus practice? And also, in this scenario, how much do you weigh experience, what I've done with you in the past, versus what I could possibly do with you in the future if I have to call on you because Daniel Jones is on the shelf for a couple weeks? Do you want to roll with Anthony Richardson, who is at times, and really to his detriment, sporadic and kind of chaotic as a quarterback, but he also has won 8 games in this league? Or do you want to go the keys to Riley, where he's only started 1 game in this league, looked pretty good, I would say, in the season finale last year against Houston, but has limited experience and has really struggled in the preseason games. So it's not as easy or cut and dry as anyone, I think, really maps it out to be right now. If you have someone telling you it's absolutely Anthony Richardson or it's absolutely Riley Leonard, I don't think that's a real statement or a real sort of breakdown, but it is a real conversation that they have to have about who's going to be QB2.
Mark, am I seeing this correctly? Bullseye, the horse from Toy Story, went to the Broncos?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Woody too. They got double
So
dip.
you're telling me the Broncos have gotten Peyton Manning from the Colts, and now Woody, and now
Oh no
Bullseye.
no, Woody went to the Woody and Bullseye went to the Cowboys, I guess.
Oh,
and then
so
the
this is wrong
Broncos,
on the
Broncos got Maximus from Tangled. So the Colts got
guys, the Cowboys are really America's team.
The Colts got hosed.
So you're saying, Mark, that regardless, it should have just been a horse character of some sort.
Yeah, more than some 1930s when they dug out
yeah.
of the grave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of them they knocked home runs out. Like Captain Hook and the Buccaneers, sign me up all day.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons getting the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, 10 out of 10. Dr. Doom with the Eagles, that makes a lot of sense.
Is this supposed to be a horse that I'm looking at?
I mean,
supposed to be a horse.
Honestly, Pluto to the Cleveland Browns might be my favorite.
I thought Ham as the Commanders was pretty well done too.
Oh, the Texans got Jesse?
Yeah. There's some good ones out there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't realize that this was a horse.
I'm saying, looks like an anorexic cow.
Boy, yeah, this horse is looking real meager.
Darth Vader, the Raiders?
I like that one.
That makes sense.
Black Panther for the Carolina Panthers. How did you miss that one, though? And Iron Man to the Steelers.
Oh, yes. You know what, Mark? You need to be in these exec rooms making these decisions.
Wakanda Forever should be the
City,
Carolina Panthers logo. Make no sense.
Stinky Pete and the Prospector to the 49ers.
I like that one, too. There are some good ones out there.
No Buzz Lightyear?
Buzz went to the Jets, I think.
Oh, but that's a shame. That's like when Buzz doesn't have his powers to Infinity and Beyond. And he just crashes on the ground.
He wanted factory reset after he got named to the Jets.
But yeah, I'm not going to lie. All of those do sound a little better than this. Horse collar.
And again, just to clear this up with everybody, the NFL is coming out with Disney-related team merchandise.
Correct.
So they've affiliated a Disney character with the 32 NFL teams. That is separate from, I guess, an announcement that we are getting later today about the rivalry uniform that some teams will wear this season. The Colts will wear theirs in week 3. And if you believe the teased pictures so far from the Colts, players look to be very thrilled by this look. So
okay, but
keep an eye out for that.
Can you not look thrilled?
I would say...
when the team social media person or videographer comes up to you and says, hey, I need to film your reaction to this uniform, What are you going to do?
You need to be excited.
I would say, considering the players that they've had market the Indiana Knights jerseys in years past, I would venture to guess not many players were clamoring to market the Indiana Knights uniforms. I'm not going to get into the players' names. You can look those up for yourself. But in recent years, it's like, wait, that's who's marketing the jerseys?
Yeah. Good point.
Slightly different. John Nolan, Talking Fever, 9 o'clock hour.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
9 o'clock Well, it looks to be a very nice Tuesday here in the Circle City. Colts back to practice. John Nolan, voice of the Fever, going to join us here in a few. But again, James, we are, about 2 hours away from Shane Steichen chatting with the media. As of now, Alec Pierce remains on the physically unable to perform list. And that's a big news item for today. He has to be removed off of that in order to practice. And he has to be taken off that by Sunday, or else he misses 4 games. Which, boy, I can't imagine we're there, but I just want to make sure there are some deadlines, I guess, in this is why I bring it up.
Yeah, I think that deadline in particular gives you more of a concrete timeline of when things could happen. And essentially, with the physically unable to perform list, you can be removed from that and still not play in the season opener. But basically, if you do that, it says you're not going to be out for another month. So you get clarity there, but for the Colts purposes and for the fans' purposes, obviously they would hope that Alec doesn't miss any time as he continues to rehab from this left ankle and heel surgery, which Chris Ballard kind of slipped in there when we were in New England. Talking to him before that practice and seeing Alec kind of on the field doing some stuff for the first time in a long time, he did say that it was heel. And that was new information, Kevin. So I'm very curious to hear from Alec at some point to discuss further, okay, how does the heel factor into your recovery?
And we will also, a couple other items before we get to John Nolan here. Sounds like there could be a different player being explored as punt returner this week. We'll hit on that. And also, James, I'm curious, any update on Javarius Ward? Because now we're 3 weeks, I want to say, into this.
Yeah.
Into the back pain.
Yeah, last practice, August 9th.
Yeah, I think it was a Sunday practice. So we're now north of 3 weeks into that. Mark, John, good to go? No, not yet. We're trying to effort a John Nolan here as it is a quiet start to the week here for the Indiana Fever. Kelsey Mitchell, nice ovation for her last night. I see that at the softball game.
Yeah, she got a great roar from the crowd, and deservedly so. She's been here so long, and I would argue that of all the people that were there last night that are active athletes, she might have been one of the longest tenured here in the city, if not the longest. And so it was cool to see her get that kind of reaction, and she loves, this city. They love her, and it was cool to kind of have that reciprocated on both sides.
Yeah, great to see. And honestly, there are a lot of frontline Pacers. I mean, outside of Siakam and Zubats, you pretty much had your top, 7 or 8 guys?
Yeah, Drew was out there, Andrew Nemhard, and Johnny
Aaron
Furphy,
Nesmith?
who's coming off of the ACL injury. Yes, Aaron Nesmith, and he made it clear, hey, I have no baseball skills. And it was funny to see, professional athletes also just not have a clue what to do. Ashton Doolin, I think, dropped 2 pop flies to left field, and he got subbed out pretty quickly. And the crowd kind of cheered that he was leaving the field.
You and I have discussed this before after, golf-wise, of stick and ball sport is different.
No, it is, and I know we joke about my golf swing and how horrible it is, and trust me, it's awful. But talking to other players about it, even professional athletes who haven't swung a golf club, if you've never done the motion before, you're going to embarrass yourself. This is like baseball, golf, tennis, those sports are not where you can just out-athlete someone. I like to think that I'm relatively athletic for the average human being, but it doesn't help that I'm a little quick and, I have good endurance or whatever. On a golf course, it's if you don't know the motion at all, you ain't doing anything of importance on that grass.
It's funny you say that because last night I'm sitting there scrolling through Twitter and I follow this golf guy. His name's Jamie Kennedy on Twitter, and he repurposed a list from ESPN. I just pulled it up. It was a 2004, a study by ESPN ranked sports based on degree of difficulty. Okay? So this is purely sports based on degree of difficulty. Let me give you the top 10. In order: boxing, ice hockey, football, basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis, gymnastics, baseball, soccer. Do you agree with that list?
I think I probably would. One more time for me?
Boxing, ice hockey, football, basketball, wrestling. Let's just focus on the top 5. The hardest sports based on difficulty. Where I would probably push back is anything to deal with skating on ice. I think skating on ice.
Yeah, because you're counting 2 basically.
Combination with coordination.
Yeah.
And I get ice hockey's 2, so I mean it's very high up there.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a boxer, but I definitely give respect to boxing. Keeping your arms up that long, I think people kind of underestimate how hard that is to do.
You think it's the hardest sport in all? I mean, obviously there's a level of
hardest sport
pain tolerance you have to have there.
Is that the hardest sport? It might be up there because you ain't relying on anybody else but yourself.
Not too good for the game of golf when golf came in at 51 and cheerleading came in at 52.
Cheerleading's hard though. Like,
you would get some more love for golf? 51? Come on now. James, can you at least vouch for us?
Are we talking about like just the overall difficulty, but not like physical?
Sports based on degree of difficulty.
Okay, so not the physical difficulty. Yeah, like golf should be way higher. I mean, heck, the courses change. The weather is a factor. Like basketball, even football is in a more controlled environment than golf.
Seems like a peak July topic.
It does. I actually love this topic, though.
Oh, Alex is right. Water polo. I think water polo looks so hard.
100%. Yeah, I hadn't thought about the swimming
sports. Alex, spot on.
Yeah, because your endurance has to be great. You're, like you said, you're swimming, accuracy, physicality. Yeah, that's got to be. That might be number one, actually.
I just feel like hockey's up there, too, because you have to be able to skate
they do have hockey. I mean, they have hockey, too, which I couldn't agree with more. I mean, I think hockey should be.
I'm going water polo 1.
Super high. Yeah, I think they had water polo, looks like tied for 11th.
Yeah, I'm going 1. No, there's no way. Like, you're literally trying to make sure you don't drown while doing your sport. So, yeah, that's number 1. Man. I'm gonna stick with my basketball at JMV. That's a lot safer.
I was starting to crunch a few numbers on the Colts preseason games, and boy, I felt like such a loser when I started to do this, but welcome to August. And the more I kind of looked into it, the pass rush group has been so underwhelming. So, and I'll start off with group.
Yeah.
Jalen Tuimoloau is the leader of that group, as weird as that sounds. Outside of that, the half that Caden Curry had in New England, it has been just such ghost-like for that group. And this kind of comes back to a conversation, James, we had at different points in the offseason. I think I've tried to stress that, yes, Daniel Jones is the obvious name to any list that you would debate here. But if you remove Daniel Jones from this list, to me, the Colt that has the most important season upcoming, the Colt with the needs to play the best of any Colt on this football team, it continues to be Laiatu Latu for me.
Yeah.
And when you think about how this offseason has unfolded at pass rush, edge rusher, I think we have to call Trey Hendrickson a swing and a miss. They attempted something. Unforeseen circumstances certainly arose. We don't need to go back into all the Max Crosby stuff, but it didn't work out. Okay, so that was free agency. Then what did we hear the rest of the offseason? Jalen Tuimoloau.
Oh, my gosh.
Jalen Tuimoloau.
And I was not buying it, and I'm definitely not buying it now.
So now, again, it's August. I don't want to say it's his last at-bat, if you want to continue the baseball analogy.
Yeah.
We're still early in the game, but the man's in a slump. And the manager is probably thinking about, do we need to take him out of the lineup card?
Seriously.
Dustin DePirac, you're keeping great scorebook over here. We might need to sub you out. So, James, if you, again, want to play out this baseball thing a little bit more, Hendrickson, a swing and a miss. Tuimoloau, a swing right now, August 25th, you would say a miss. Latu. I mean, it just, so now, I mean, that's really, Arden Key can help, and, maybe George Gums or Caden Curry shows something, but man, it just is another reminder to me, less than 3 weeks away from the start of the season, Latu. More than Gardner, more than Taylor, more than Pierce, more than Nelson, more than Buckner. To me, he has to be the guy.
I think that's fair. You haven't had a 10-sack guy, double-digit sack guy since, what is it, Kevin, 2019?
Yeah, Justin Houston in 2019, yeah.
What were you doing in 2019? Well, what did your life look like? Did you even have as many kids as you have now?
Rosie wasn't even born, and now she's got a broken arm.
Am I allowed to laugh? What kind of transition was that? What the heck was that? Why is Rosie catching strays?
James is laughing at Rosie's broken arm.
Pointing and laughing.
But no,
broken arm.
But please help me out here.
You're going to bully her on the kindergarten later? You're going to drive by her school and tell her she can't climb the monkey bars today?
But why would you say that? I just asked you, hey, was she alive? And you're like, yeah, now she's here with a broken arm. You could have left the other part out. Like, you know what? She's no longer in pain, correct? I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
James writes DUMB on her cast. Dumb. Should have got that.
Breaking James's neck over my leg.
Look, if I don't make it out of this room, I'm sorry. Maddie, please forgive me. Like, blame him. One day I'll understand as a parent, just not today.
I've been pretty proud of Rosie's left hand.
Oh, so is her dominant hand?
Yeah, it's her dominant hand,
arm?
unfortunately.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, she's writing her name, and it was writing the number 5. They were working on 5s yesterday in kindergarten. So yeah, I was like, okay, left hand looks pretty. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, we got a little ambidextrous athlete here.
And it's just hilarious how like one of our arms just doesn't do anything wrong. Can't write with it usually. Like can't do anything.
Oh, I can't do anything with my left hand. I mean, I'm throwing like, you know.
I know. But it's just funny how like
push shot.
Same thing, just for whatever reason, it just can't do the exact same stuff the other one can.
Well, I mean, you talked about your chicken scratch the other day, Kevin. Her left hand must be okay.
I mean, look at my handwriting.
Yeah, brother.
It's horrific.
Yeah, mine's awful too.
It's rough.
I mean, like people look at it, they're like, "Are you writing cursive?" I'm like, "No, that's shockingly a manuscript."
But to be honest, even as a writer, a journalist, I don't actually write. I type a lot. So when I have to physically, like when I go to the doctor's office or something like that, and they're like, okay, fill out this like address, check this box, have you had, do you smoke, do you do this? I'm like, I can't even like write my name without it looking horrible.
It is still wild to me that we're still doing that stuff in some of the doctor's offices.
Oh boy. I went to the dentist probably like a month ago, 6-month cleaning, and they're like, hey, we need you to update your information. I was like, why does it have to be updated when it's the exact same that it used to be? They're like, well, you just have to do it every so often. And boy, I'm sitting there like really taking my time because I'm like, y'all ain't about to get up here and can't read any of this. It was rough.
I enjoyed Stephen Godfrey on with us earlier. A little college football chat with him. He was a fun dude. We need to have him on again.
He was great.
Yeah, I think our listeners enjoyed that. Charismatic, but also real. Also, the die mad statement in regard to anybody kind of dissing IU is hilarious.
Oh, his
we need a shirt with that on that.
His answer to Indiana football just literally grinding the gears of all of these SEC related. I'm seeing it with the Notre Dame fan base.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I mean, even though like Notre Dame did, obviously they beat Indiana, but still they didn't get the national championship.
Right.
They got to the national championship, but they didn't win it. And then you've got to sit here and, have Kurt Signetti say, oh, they should play us twice in Bloomington. It's like, bleep off, Right. I would squarely put Notre Dame into that category. It might not be as venomous as the SEC fans, but, I think there was some hope from Notre Dame early on in the transfer portal that they were going to get Nick Marsh, Michigan State transfer. And I think, maybe there were some behind-the-scenes things that happened that Notre Dame wasn't too pleased with from an Indiana side of it. So, yeah, this is I think that is very real. I know John has said this before of like, is Indiana the most hated team in college football right now?
They might be.
Yeah. It's like, I think they are going to be heavily rooted against this upcoming season.
And I'm going to love it. Not from the standpoint of like wanting them to lose, but I like that.
Oh, it's a great healthy sport tension.
Yeah, that rivalry that we don't like you. We need more of that in the sport. And honestly, if you're hating on IU, that to me speaks to the craziness of college sports. They've won nothing ever. They finally do, and it's like, that's too much for you. I mean, they were the most losing program ever.
Yeah, we've tried so hard, and all of a sudden, here's the kid from down the street that just showed up from Mars, and he can ride his bike without training wheels.
Yeah. Cool kid.
Don't think we'll be riding the bike with Rosie's broken arm.
No. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Got to have some good parenting.
Should she play soccer? Should I be the psycho parent?
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Like, what if she just clobbers some kid?
Just bashing the kid with her cast?
Doing wrestling all the time. The cast is a weapon, my friend.
Oh, gosh. Mark, this is in the WWE here.
Could be. Throw like a metal pad in there, too. You really could do some damage.
You know what? I hear you guys talking. I'm like, boy, thank God for Maddie and Ashley, because these two.
Mark needs a son.
And I've got enough. Nora's.
I was going to say, I don't know. I feel like Nora's pretty. Yeah. Nora's pretty tough.
Oh, yeah.
Rough and tough. You know what? I need to, just, again, when everyone gets potty trained and everything goes down, hit your boy up. I'll toughen him up.
One Colts item to note here. It's a little nerdy roster stuff, but I think some people care about it. They're going to explore Ashton Doolin as a punt returner this week in practice.
What can't he do on special teams, by the way?
Seriously, well, this is about the only thing he hasn't done. Seriously, is punt return. I mean, hell, the man has played defense in the NFL. But James, this could really impact Sunday roster cuts.
Yes.
So to nerd out about this for just a second here, right now, I think you and I are both in agreement. We have Coleman Owen on the 53-man roster, number 9.
Yes.
Undrafted kid. I think it was Northern Arizona and Ohio, I believe, 2 years ago. He has exclusively been a punt returner this offseason, along with being a wideout. But Anthony Gould, who has been the recent punt returner, has been hurt. I think there were some questions about his status on the team. Deion Burks, their 7th-round pick out of Oklahoma, has not shown an ability to be a punt returner. So that duty needs to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think in an ideal world, it would go to someone that also has some other duties for your 53-man roster. Well, Dulin is definitely that. And now that Keenan Allen has arrived here, theoretically, you don't need Ashton Dulin to play wide receiver as much. Assuming Alec Pierce is healthy, assuming Josh Downs is healthy, assuming Keenan Allen is healthy, a 4th wideout, it's kind of hard to involve that guy on a game day. So if that's Dulin, then he could probably go back to being an all-pro special team Ashton Dulin. And now the question becomes, can he be a punt returner? So something that Brian Mason, their special teams coordinator, mentioned yesterday, that they're going to get him some reps at punt returner this week. And that is curious to me. How that impacts their roster cuts and how that impacts the back of wide receiver. Maybe you don't need to keep 6 anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe that means you keep an extra somewhere else.
The versatility of Ashton Dulin making our projected 53-man rosters look fraudulent.
Now, you were saying he was struggling out there last night on the diamond.
Oh, he was looking real rough. That was the James Boyd golf swing of outfield play.
Is catching a fly ball similar to catching a punt?
Well, according to Ashton Dulin, it can't be because the man, I don't know if he lost it in the lights, give him the benefit of the doubt, but after about, I want to say maybe the 3rd dropped pop fly, he had to come out of there.
In his career, he has 37 kick returns, 0 punt returns, which I do think there's a real difference in handling those two things. Because like Deion Burks has done some kick returns, and I think he looks okay doing kick returns.
Yeah.
Punt returns?
Yeah, but as Brian Mason mentioned yesterday, he was doing it in practice for 2 years, he being Ashton Dulin. So there is some sort of experience there, just we haven't seen it publicly. How about some of the other happenings in the softball game? So we had Tyrese getting up to bat first, hyping up the crowd. This is my event. I'm going to, do my thing. Pops one straight up, back behind home plate, catch out immediately. First pitch, by the way. First pitch, he's already out. I was like, boy. And so they flipped it. They ended up winning 28-8. But the way it started, I was like, oh, Tyrese is not going to score a run.
And the reverse happened, right? Daniel Jones went yard off of Tyrese Haliburton?
Yes. So that's how the game started. It was fun, man. That was a good time. It actually looked like Daniel Jones, who's typically a robot, cracked a smile or two. Was enjoying himself. Even had to argue with the umpire over being out at first base.
Oh, we had real umps?
I mean, not real umps, but
real-ish?
we had a couple, yeah.
Laquan Treadwell, home run. Did I see that? Caden Curry, home run.
I told you. I don't know if the Laquan Treadwell, I think they counted it, but it shouldn't have counted. He didn't touch home plate. He did the 80 Mitchell.
Now, Bryce Betcher, Colts linebacker, 4th-round pick out of Oregon, literally drafted to play Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
By the Houston Astros. Did he bat?
He batted, but he didn't hit a home run.
Where did this go? Where'd the ball go?
So he hit a couple that should have been just like pop flies, but they kept dropping them, and then he just kept running around the bases. So he drove in a lot of runs off errors, and he had a couple of hits. But yeah, but also just watching him, you could tell that he wasn't really trying to show off. Because I was waiting for him to like really step into a swing, and that just never happened.
It's funny. I think I told you guys a few weeks ago I went over to Victory Field. Shout out to Evan Sherrill at Cluster Truck. Gave me the invite to go over there and take some batting practice. And then we also then got to go out in the outfield and kind of, I guess, shag fly balls. And 1,000%, the thing that took me much longer to get reacclimated with was shagging the fly balls than it was batting. It's like man, I forgot like reading balls off of a bat is an art.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, some of these balls are coming off there pretty hard. And
Yeah.
I'm like, boy, I'm not running these down at all. I felt like that Reds outfielder trying to win the game against the Cardinals a few weeks ago. Speaking of that, on the morning checkdown, we've got some things to get to.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, softball game last night, as James said, Tyrese Haliburton and Daniel Jones. All proceeds going to the Pacers Family Foundation. Looked to be an awesome turnout out there at Victory Field. I hope this now becomes an annual thing. And shout out to Tyrese for helping kind of revive it. And obviously, Daniel Jones to stay in Indy would be grateful to that as well. So cool to see everybody come together for that, and glad Mother Nature cooperated. On the Colts side of it, those boys will now be on the football practice field later today. Alec Pierce to the side. James, what else do you care about from Shane Steichen as he meets the media later today?
I would like to know an update on Travarius Ward. Where is he at? He hasn't practiced since August 9th due to a back injury. Also, linebackers. I'm curious to see practice today. Who's out there? Who's starting? Does C.J. Allen crack into their rotation with the first stringers, or are we looking at a different lineup without him in it heading into the season opener?
Again, kicker's going to kick today, kick Thursday. Tyler Warren, we're now at about a week that he has missed with a right groin, so we'll be curious if he practices at all this week. Saturday, 1 o'clock, Colts-Lions inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. That is the preseason finale. The thought there's a few more starters will be playing. Mark, your Cubbies serving up a goose egg yesterday?
7-0 shutout in Arizona. Very nice to see.
How about Big Dumper? You see him last night?
He's starting to heat up a little bit.
Is it the best nickname in sports?
It's got to be. Definitely in baseball, I would say.
The Big Dumper.
I haven't thought about sports nicknames.
Now all I'm thinking about is just the high school kid that I felt like lived in the stall. And we should have just called him Big Dumper.
Well, I had a friend.
It's like, man, I swear I haven't seen Butters in 3 periods.
Man, I had a childhood friend, and shout out and rest in peace to Miguel Ford. Silky was his nickname in high school. He gave it to himself, and he was such a funny kid.
Jump shot?
He made 1 3-pointer in a 6th grade basketball game and started calling himself Silky. And he was so funny and charismatic that everyone just started calling him that, to the point where, like, my parents called him Silk.
By the way, speaking of that, went to my nephew's about to be 10, went to his travel basketball game the other day at Grand Park. Opposing kid hits a 3 and does the
"Oh, you can't see me, John Cena."
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Are you good with that?
I think I'm good with it. I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm like, these kids
9
need
years
to, like,
old. Are you good with that?
I don't mind it.
Did he do it in the other kid's face? If you're just doing it to me in the crowd or something, I'm cool. I'm okay with it.
I believe he was doing it because he felt like he was heavily guarded.
I'm cool with it. You know what? You know how I feel about it. Being humble is for losers. We don't ask winners to be humble.
Then the Allen Iverson's the kid on the next possession, Tyronn Lue style.
Hey, it is what it is. It's just war out there, baby. Which it is not, to be clear.
Indians back at home this week. Lexi Hall night coming up Thursday there. She will throw out the first pitch and sign some autographs in the first couple of innings. That is the Indiana Fever starting small forward. What else we got? A little football action on the gridiron. College football week 0. Not a lot of notable games. Belichick's in Dublin. TCU, North Carolina. USC is the lone ranked team playing. I think we get like NC State, Virginia. Stanford, Hawaii, which for some reason I remember watching that endlessly last year. I think Hawaii beat them on a game-winning field goal, which is not a good start for Andrew Luck and interim coach Frank Reich. IndyCar back up in Milwaukee, the state fair up there. Oval race. They will be up there for a couple of races coming up Saturday and Sunday. All right, on the other side, we'll continue to effort Voice of the Fever, John Nolan, and we'll be with you next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. This is The Fan Morning Show.
Today's Fox 59 Weather Authority forecast from the Armor Air Weather Center. Armor Air, we do what's right on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're going to have another beautiful day with mostly sunny skies and a high of 81 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant. Lows will fall into the lower 60s. I am Fox 59 meteorologist Amber Hardwick for The Fan.
I represent the third one. You a rookie, I'm a vet. You the captain, I'm the crunch. You got the dinner, I got lunch. Hit the weed, pass the blunt. Your eyes red, you got the mud. How you like me now? Gold teeth when I smile. Try to take me out the ghetto, but I'm still buck wild.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
I'm going to set the over-under at 8%. 8%, okay?
Okay.
Over or under, Colts, Browns, Week 17. The Colts are facing Deshaun Watson.
I'm taking the over. Like an 8% chance of facing Deshaun Watson?
8% chance Deshaun Watson is the starting quarterback, Week 17, Sunday, January 3rd. Colts at Browns.
I misheard the question. I'm taking the under. There's no way he's starting by then. Hell, he might not be starting after week 2.
There's no chance in hell he's starting weeks. I don't care if everyone else is, if Shadur Sanders is hurt and Dylan Gabriel still there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's Joe Flacco season. They'll be trading for Joe Flacco.
Now you and I talked about this yesterday when the show ended. I think it was off air.
Yes.
You and I are both in agreement on this. We want a Joe Flacco rule and or Jameis Winston rule implemented.
Yes.
Mark, hear us out on this, okay? If you are a team in the playoff picture, i.e. one of the 7 spots in either division, okay? And it's December or January, and your starting quarterback gets hurt, the team that has Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston on their team must trade you one of them.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
You good with that?
Love
How
it.
about this? We'll put Flacco's with the Bengals, correct? And Winston is where?
I was wondering that.
Is he still with the Giants?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's still with the Giants.
Okay, so perfect. We have an NFC and we have an AFC.
Yeah.
So there you go. NFC team, if you are one of the 7 playoff teams and your quarterback is hurt, week 14 or later, you get Jameis Winston in a trade. We'll call it for a 7th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And in the AFC, if you're one of the 7 teams in the playoff race, you trade for Joe Flacco.
Are we not in the entertainment business? This would be must-see TV.
So, Mark, you endorse us.
100%. I love Jameis Winston. I hope Jackson Dart has to sit a couple games so that we can watch Jameis Winston.
I just remember was it the snow game last year? No, it couldn't have been last year because he was already with the Giants. But whatever year he was with the Browns, and it was like a primetime game. I want to say it was Thursday night. And he's like, Lord, what a blessing it is that we get to play in some snow. I can't wait to get out here. And I've been watching the NFL films. I'm rumbling and tumbling. And I'm like, how do you get mad at this dude? Like, I think Jameis would almost not be the person I want to lead me into a game because I'd be laughing the entire time throughout the pregame speech.
Oh, Maddie Bowen loves hearing his speeches.
He's hilarious.
She loves hearing his speeches. This from Pete Thamel, who's like major college sport reporter. Sources say the Big Ten is set to pass a rule today that doesn't allow players to return from the NFL and play for a Big Ten school.
Common sense.
Anyone who is declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster. Now, my question becomes this, and Mark, can you look this up? Did Stephen Daly and or Kellen Wyatt ever declare for the NFL draft?
So is the rule now?
That's what Pete's saying right here. Anyone who has declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw. So I guess those would be the 2 elements.
Right, because I would venture to say those 2, if they didn't declare, if they did declare, they probably withdrew. I mean, I have to look this up.
Because I would hate that we're even at this point, though, that we have to keep going through all these things.
I think we're all in agreement there. And again, I go back to Barry Odom's comments yesterday. I called it lunacy. Barry Odom used the word mind-boggling. Can you keep an ounce of purity together in college football? I would agree on that. And my thought is this. If you that's pretty, what Pete Thamel points out here is pretty much what I've said. If you do anything professionally, declare, certainly participate in a rookie minicamp, participate in a summer league, hell, a preseason game in the NFL. If you do any of that, you should be done with college sports. Now, again, in Daly and Wyatt's case, they are a little different. They did get hurt during their final years, this being in Bloomington.
Yep.
And so they're a little bit of a different cup of tea, but I still don't know if they declared. Part of me thinks if I'm Stephen Daly, don't you declare for the draft? Hell, I led the Big Ten in tackles for loss. Maybe some
But doesn't everyone declare for the draft?
Maybe some team will pick me.
There's a bunch of kids I used to cover that might have had an outside chance to get into the NBA or NFL, and even they declared for the draft, and everyone knew they weren't going to get drafted. I'm trying to find it. It's hard to find. But nevertheless, I think that – okay, let me ask you this. Follow-up. Do you think the Big Ten is restricting or could be potentially restricting their level of talent if they pass this rule?
Sure. I guess. Frankly,
like if the rest of the country can do this, if the SEC can do this, are you hurting your –
I don't think
I'm not saying you should do it because everyone else is doing it. I'm just saying.
I don't think you're overwhelmingly – honestly, Indiana's probably one of the teams that's benefiting the most from this current situation. Assuming – now, right now, Daly and Wyatt, to be clear, are ineligible.
Right.
They are still in the ineligible mold. And we had this conversation yesterday with Mike Nislik. I believe the reason that Nislik shared with us why they are ineligible versus Sam Alexis, the basketball player, being eligible, Sam Alexis filed his injunction within a state court.
Right.
That was able to pass, whereas Daly and Wyatt, I believe, were more federal, I think. And that's why currently they are ineligible.
Okay. Well, boy, I feel like I'm in a Calculus 2 class right now. I'm so confused.
I said good on the Big Ten. We're 5 days from the season starting. We do not need literally James pick an undrafted free agent on the Colts roster right now.
Undrafted Wes Weeks.
Wes Weeks going back to LSU. Wes Weeks is probably the best example you could have said because he played at the school where this stuff seems to be happening. And hell,
Lane Kiffin ain't about to
his brother dates
nobody.
Lane Kiffin's daughter.
Is that true?
There you go. I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know if they're still I haven't monitored the college relationships. But at one point they were.
I did not know that. Shout out to the Weeks family. But yeah,
Anderson
Lane Kiffin ain't about to deny anybody.
Running back. Taj Chambers, Ole Miss linebacker. Wouldn't you think those schools would be knocking down the door?
Yeah, for sure. The gap between the NFL and college football is huge. There's a lot of guys who can still dominate in college athletics who aren't going to be great NFL players. And you can make a lot of money, too.
We've heard from Barry Odom on this. We've heard from Kurt Cignetti on it. I think Sig has said we will continue to support Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt in their efforts to try and regain eligibility. Yeah. Now, again, this was prior to this news here. Marcus Freeman has commented as well because they've had a player, Junior Tui Halamaka, number 44.
Tui Halamaka.
Defensive lineman who fits this mold, and Freeman said at this point in the offseason, it's too late. Admissions-wise, he pointed to that. And so Junior's going to go play for where? LSU.
Boy.
Stacking them up over there.
I feel like if Fidel Castro had a good pass rush, you'd have him playing for LSU.
Then Kevin, I'd like to take a look at that guy.
Seriously.
Hey, he's a cutthroat coach. He's a good coach.
Is he the college football supervillain? Does anyone outside of LSU, even most of LSU fans might know on success for him?
I don't know. But to Kevin's point that you always make, you need those characters, right?
Dan Hurley stay in college basketball. Lane Kiffin stay in college football. We need those characters.
Yeah.
Did you hear Stephen Godfrey with us earlier?
Mm-hmm.
I think Kurt Cignetti has some of that. Whether I don't think he's anywhere near, Hurley or Kiffin, but when you win, you naturally bring some of that on you. This from Ross Dellinger. He has added this. The SEC is expected to consider something similar during this week's meetings.
Ooh, okay.
So we could be seeing a little bit
cowards
of action here. So you guys said you did not find if Daly or Wyatt declared?
Yeah, I couldn't go back and find it. Everything that's popping up right now when I enter the draft is that he could have got drafted this and that, but I don't see like the Instagram post of him saying, I'm declaring for the NFL draft.
Brian on the YouTube chat says Daly did declare for the draft, but was undrafted.
Okay. Oh, actually, I found it. Yeah. The official graphic that every player seems to put out. Yeah, it literally says at the bottom, I am officially declaring for the NFL draft.
Gotcha.
Found it on Twitter. He did this on January 27th. And here we are in August. Wow.
So that could impact some things here.
If I'm him, I'm taking that post down. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Applying for a job. Let me scour the web.
Hey.
I need to take down my declaration for the NFL draft.
I'm just saying.
Which again, I think the IU defensive line is the strength of this year's football team for them. And if you add Daly and Wyatt, assuming they're healthy to the mix, that would only add to it. So, little news wrinkle here late in the show that could impact some things down there in Bloomington. They are still eligible to practice. That was something Kurt Cignetti said yesterday. We'll see if this news clarifies any of that. One final time, Fan Morning Show here on a beautiful Tuesday in Indy.
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather in Cleveland, Ohio at Huntington Bank Field today to give him the glory. It's a beautiful day.
Sure feels like you're playing in the AFC North.
It is. It's magical. Thank you.
One-stop shop for your car shopping. That is the Andy Moore Group campus in Avon. 4 brands on one location, right off of Rockville Road. It's Kia, Volkswagen, Nissan, Toyota. Compare and contrast new, used, hybrid models. All 4 brands, they service their respective vehicles right there on site. So again, this is the Andy Moore Group campus in Avon. Kia, Volkswagen, Toyota, and Nissan. They are ready to help you today. So make sure you contact them right off of Rockville Road. Again, it's the Andy Moore Group campus. Kia, Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan, 4 brands, one site. Don't have to travel all over the area to try and find your comparing of your cars. Make sure you do that in the Andy Moore Group campus location. That is Rockville Road in Avon. Tell them Kevin Bowen sent you.
pocket. Keep it in my pocket. Keep it in my pocket.
This is the Fan Morning Show with Kevin Bowen and James Boyd.
For those that are jersey obsessed, here in about 15 minutes, you will see the rivalry jersey for the Colts. And we are under the impression they will be wearing this one time, and that'll be a Week 3 home game, Colts-Texans. I call that the game of the year. Biggest game on the Colts schedule. You want a chance at ending your 11-year division drought? You beat the Texans in your own building.
Has it been that long? Yeah, 11 years. And you haven't beaten the Texans at all, home or away, since 2023.
Yeah, Shane Steichen's second game as head coach. Anthony Richardson's second start.
Yeah, I remember he scored 2 touchdowns, and then he got a concussion. And a couple weeks later, he was out for the season. But, yeah, wow. That is a huge game, now that you put it like that. But also, I mean, to go somewhere you haven't been in recent times, Kevin, you got to do something different. So I don't fault you for laying that out there like that. I've also argued here on this show and on my podcast that Daniel Jones has to at least be the second best quarterback in the division for them to make the playoffs. If he is not, they will not make the playoffs. He's got to outplay C.J. Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, one of them.
Oh, yeah. If C.J. Stroud is better than Daniel, or if C.J. Stroud is viewed as one of the, if he is the best quarterback in the AFC South, the Texans might go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, their defense is
seriously.
Good. No, their defense is that good.
Like, they almost won. Who'd they lose to? New England last year in that playoff game?
Yeah.
They were in that game.
Yeah.
Even with Stroud looking terrible.
Yeah.
In that game.
He's regressed a bit. Rookie year, he threw 23 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions. And then this past year, 19 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions, dealt with a couple injuries there as well.
And the Texans bring back, I think they bring back everybody on that defense.
And didn't they add Jadeveon Clowney as like a depth defensive end signing?
Clowney had a hit on Mendoza when I was watching that game last week. Big time spin move hit. They drafted, I forget his name, but defensive lineman in round 2. He had a sack in that game. It's like
the rich get richer.
Yeah.
And their secondary, we talk about the secondary here with the Colts, their secondary is loaded.
Yeah. Derek Stingley Jr., Jalen Petrie, the Bullet kid out of Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
and
know
I think
what they're doing.
what they do especially well is just take the ball away. They create turnover-worthy plays. And we'll see how often the Colts are able to do that if they aren't able to generate the pass rush with that other edge spot. I'm worried about that, KB, a lot. Like Laiatu, yeah, I get it. Need to make a jump, but at least he's proven something. Arden Key, career rotational guy. Michael Clemens, career rotational guy. Jalen Tuimoloau. I just haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, it's not often, I remember like Danico Autry kind of had this happen when he joined the Colts. I thought Autry was really one of the better free agent signings that Chris Ballard has had because there was a projection there. He had played out his rookie contract with the Raiders, and then he came here in I think it was like his 5th year in the league, became kind of a full-time starter, and I thought really flourished for the Colts. Frankly, I thought they should have tried to keep him, and then he went on to Tennessee. So again, that was kind of, I think Autry was an undrafted free agent, or certainly it was a late-round pick. Then again, came here in year 5 and start to take off. Key is a little bit more of is he a finished product?
Yeah.
He's 8 years into the league, a little bit longer into the league. He was 3rd-round pick out of LSU. Man, everything is LSU. Everything's LSU.
So what you're saying is we should ask him about these eligibility rules, get his thoughts on Lane Kiffin?
He might go back there.
It's possible.
How many LSUers do the Colts have? Just him and Wes Weeks? Oh, Halsey.
Yeah, that would be the most notable one.
I liked what Hunter Wohler showed a little bit on Saturday. I said in all seriousness, I know there wasn't much positive from the fantasy. I'm looking at Field Yates on my TV or on our TV here in the studio. But I liked what Hunter Wohler showed. Mark, we need to get a fantasy person on.
We do. I need some tips.
Did I see Ashton Genty got hurt yesterday?
I did. Yeah. Ankle sprain, something like that.
Fortunately, it's not worse than that, though, because the initial reaction was that, or at least the initial report was that people had gathered around him as he went down on the field. Whenever that happens, you're like, boy, it's serious. So it sounds like it's just an ankle sprain, which crisis avoided.
Jeremiah Love also dealing with high ankle sprains, so not great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Were I would assume most teams are done with training camp or close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like we've avoided the big one around the league.
Yeah, no QBs that I know of or anything.
No QBs. I wouldn't even say no like top
wide receivers.
15 running back, 15 wide out. Again, we saw the number 2 guy in Houston, Jaden Higgins, tear his ACL. But it does seem like we've gotten through camp without the big one.
Yeah, we had a couple of like starting centers. I think the Chargers centers are for the year. And then Danny Pincer in Baltimore's on track. Now he's out for the year. But yeah, to your point, not a whole lot of like marquee household star names.
Boy, I know I mentioned that yesterday. He was my, the bad goat of the week was injuries for me.
Yeah.
With that Pinter news. Week 1 being back here in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Oh, can you imagine that for him?
Full-time starter on what a lot of people believe is a great team.
Yeah.
That's one thing about this Colts schedule. Again, City James, week 3 to me, that's the biggest game, Colts Texans. Week 1 and 2, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like both of those stand out. Both of those are kind of go without saying. But we should note that's going to be Baltimore with a new head coach. And that's Jesse Minter coming over from the Chargers. Well, let's remind people what Shane Steichen did to Jesse Minter last year, Colts Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Shane Steichen shredded that dude. By all accounts, a rather vanilla defense. So I that could certainly favor the Colts. And then week 2, you play Kansas City. Mahomes, of course, coming off the ACL. But let's remember what Kansas City has week 1. They've got Denver on Monday Night Football. So that's short week Denver there. Coming into facing the Colts in week 2. So, we obviously talk so much, Colts, and, how does the schedule look for them and Shane Steichen's team and this and that, all of that. But at times, I don't think we probably look at it from the other side of it. And it's like, well, Baltimore's got some questions. Kansas City's got some questions. And Houston, if you look at their schedule the first 2 weeks, again, they come here week 3. They got Josh Allen and Joe Burrow the first 2 weeks of the season. So that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. I can't wait. I know we're going to continue to do this in a cyclical fashion over the next few weeks, but boy, I cannot wait until things start counting.
Mark, I've already put in the calendar the pumpkin patch days.
Oh, really? Apple Orchard too?
Now, you know how we do this, right?
Well, you do it like you try to figure out when the weak spots are on the Saturday schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this Saturday then?
You start scrolling through. Good luck convincing the missus that the pumpkin patch is in store in 85-degree heat in late August.
I wish you could, though, because this is week 0 stinks.
But this is the time, James. We've got 2 dates. I'll share with you tomorrow. 2 dates on the college football calendar that are non-pumpkin patch, non-apple orchard. We can't be doing any of that.
Gotcha.
No. The slate of games is too good. I know you're traveling a lot on Saturdays. If you're home and all of a sudden someone says, hey, we need to hang, we need to do a little day date. No. Ashley Dykton, day date at the state fair. Nope.
Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Boyd. I got to give her some credit because I think my dad has the same sort of system and has had it for years. She understands.
Do your parents own a TV guide still, like a hard copy of the TV guide? I used to love the TV guide. Your
parents get another magazine size. Have you seen them?
Really?
I was like, Mom, I think you don't need these anymore. She's like, it's just,
nah,
had them forever. I'm
my
like, for what
parents
reason,
have graduated a little bit from that.
Gosh, I used to love the hard copy of the TV guide.
Dude, when I first gave my parents a Fire Stick, it blew their minds. They're like, what do you mean you can make my TV a smart TV?
It's like giving Darth Vader a lifesaver.
Shout out to Pops. He's hoarding my subscriptions again. Watching the new Green Lantern show on HBO, so now I can't watch it.
You're a good son. We'll be up a Colts practice here a little bit later today. Jake's got you covered from 10 to 1. Sounds like some news potentially from a Big Ten standpoint on these players in the NFL and if they could be back and eligible in college football, and Colts jerseys about to be announced here in a few for that crowd. Thanks for starting your Tuesday with us. Jake's got you covered 10 to 1. This is